Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Ethan was studying English literature at the University of California, and suddenly he began experiencing intense waves of crushing anxiety.
Right before I went off to college, I started having really severe panic attacks. I was pretty sure that I was losing my mind. I wouldn't sleep for days on end.
My problem was like circular thinking. I could not stop thinking. And if it was one thing that was bothering me, something that so doesn't matter, I would obsess over. Like I couldn't stop thinking about it. I couldn't help myself.
Ethan also has Tourette's. Tourette's is a neurodevelopmental disorder. It's characterized by repetitive, involuntary, sudden movements, or vocalizations, which are called tics.
You know, with Tourette's, I've always kind of like buried my head in the sand. I know I have it, but since I was a kid, the more I thought about it, the worse it was. So my strategy of dealing with it was always kind of just to like forget that I have it or try not to think about it.
Ethan has spoken openly and publicly about his Tourette's. There's a study that says that 86% of those diagnosed with Tourette's will be diagnosed with a second psychiatric disorder during their lifetime. Nearly 58% will receive 2 or more such diagnoses, according to a study led by researchers from UC San Francisco and Massachusetts General Hospital.
So you have OCD and Tourette's.
Yeah, Tourette's is like related to OCD.
And overeating.
Anything else?
So Ethan was experiencing generalized anxiety disorder throughout college.
I was super anxious and super depressed, like generalized anxiety disorder. Like I was crippled by it, and I had a hard time socializing with people at the time because I was just so anxious in my head all the time. It was probably the worst time of my life.
Many experience anxiety in school. The constant social interactions, stress, pressure, deadlines, all of that seemed to make school a breeding ground for anxiety. Ethan's anxiety became so bad he was desperate to get away from his environment, which led to him taking a trip to Israel in 2007 when he was 22 years old as part of the Birthright program, which offers to fund 10-day trips to Israel for people of Jewish heritage. Ethan Klein's family is Ashkenazi Jewish.
And I was already planning to do this Birthright trip for like half a year already, but I was so messed up in my head that I honestly didn't want to go, and I thought about canceling it.
The trip Ethan took is officially part of a program called Taglight Birthright Israel, which offers free educational trips to Israel for young Jewish adults worldwide. Some claim that Birthright functions as a soft power or public diplomacy project for the Israeli government. Some controversy also revolves around where the money comes to fund these Birthright trips, and whether the major donors influence the messaging or the itinerary.
There's rich Jews in Europe, UK, Canada, US, who give tons of cash, tons of money to the state of Israel for the purpose of bringing young Jews on this trip to Israel to connect with their Jewish heritage. It's like the most glorified version of JewDate.net. And they handpick these beautiful Israeli soldiers. They bring over all these young American kids, and they're like, it's kind of a strange thing. You need to be Jewish, because it is very Zionistic. It's very like racial.
While visiting Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial in Jerusalem, Ethan noticed Ela Hackman.
Well, like I said, me and Ela's life has been pretty bizarre, and the way we met is no exception. Because me and Ela met at the Holocaust Museum.
It seems like meeting Ela was the cure to Ethan's troubles. One would assume Ethan associated his Birthright trip, traveling to Israel, meeting the love of his life, Ela, as integral to saving his life.
But the choice to go to Israel, despite my overwhelming desire to stay at home and feel safe, is what led me to the path of recovery. Because when I met Ela, everything in my life started to get better.
Ela Hackman was born in Tel Aviv, Israel, on December 12, 1987. She was raised in Holland. At the time of meeting Ethan, Ela was serving in the Israel Defense Forces, otherwise known as the IDF. Women in Israel are required to serve in the Israel Defense Forces under the Security Service Law of 1949, which made mandatory service required for all people in Israel.
I was in the army in Israel because it's mandatory. It was in a base next to Jerusalem in Ramallah.
Ooh. So Ramallah, if you guys don't know, is like one of the most dangerous cities in Jerusalem. It's just like a ton of terrorists there.
Yeah.
You take the wrong street down Ramallah, boy, it'd be your last.
The standard length of service for a woman is around 2 years, whereas men serve 32 months, 2 years and 8 months. While some will resist joining the service and have to face jail time, others will enjoy their time in service and do extra unregulated work, as Ela commented on a raid she participated in while she was in the IDF. These raids are not exactly regulated by the book.
You told me once you went on like a mission with them, to like a terrorist city?
They would go every night on a raid. One time I wanted to go with them just to experience it.
Did they arrest anyone that night?
They did.
Did they bring it in the same car with you?
No. It actually looked like a nice city.
That's, I mean, from their perspective, well, it's so complicated.
Yeah.
From their perspective, it's like, fuck these guys.
At the time of meeting Ethan, Hila was on a break from service. Despite all of his anxiety, Ethan decided he would approach Hila, and the two immediately clicked.
There's this girl that is flippin' tall and beautiful, and she's got these huge blue eyes, and I was like, what?
After his birthright trip was up, Ethan had to return home to the United States. However, him and Hila remained in touch, and the two spoke over Skype. Hila was very shy, but claims in an interview with Insider that meeting Ethan helped her open up. I was such a shy person that I would barely speak in a group setting or open up at all. When I met Ethan, he really pushed me in ways that were so healthy for my personal growth. He made me more open and confident, and he would always just compliment me or push me to do whatever it was that I was inspired to do. Hila also claimed that she helped Ethan pick his battles, even if it didn't always work. I get him to be a little more responsible maybe, or think twice. It doesn't always help. He's going to do what he's going to do, but I do think we both influence each other. By 2009, Hila traveled to the US to live with Ethan. After living with Ethan for a year, her visa expired and she moved back to Israel.
So you go back, you see her just via Skype, email stuff. When do you actually physically see each other again?
It was a while.
After
Hila
a
had a
year.
boyfriend.
A year?
I came here for 2 months and I went back and then another year. Until we
Damn.
Yeah,
actually-
well, I was persistent, man.
Yeah.
Because a guy like me gets a girl like that interested, you follow that thread.
It went from like Skype relationship to living together.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Wanting to continue their relationship, Ethan Klein moved to Israel. He got a desk job in marketing and content management. He and Hila lived together in an apartment.
I worked when we were in Israel for 5 years at a desk job. And so I was,
5 years?
yeah, in marketing.
While I was going to school for
Yeah.
art,
Hmm.
he was working. I
And
mean,
what-
I was working too, but
What was your desk job? What kind of job?
I was just a content manager because I have a degree in English and writing. So when you go to Israel, that's actually like a marketable skill.
After some time, Ethan felt unsatisfied in his job. He was ready for a change, and Hila was studying video art. Hila was enrolled in the Shankar College of Engineering, Design, and Art in Ramat Gan. She was assigned to make a video about addiction. It seems like at the time, Ethan wanted to impress Hila. He offered to collaborate with her because there was another male art student that Hila was impressed with at the time. Ethan wanted to be better than him.
Hila was in a class with this dude, and they made a video together. And she's like, "He's so cool. He's so cool. He can do anything when he's on camera." That's what you said. I remember. And I was like, I mean, I wasn't like jealous, but I was like, that's not that impressive, dude. I could f***ing do that shit. So Hila goes, "We have to make a video for my art class."
So Ethan volunteered to help, and the first video they made together was titled Chocolate, intended to be about addiction.
Hila had this project to make this video about addiction. So we said, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Hey! Get a door! What is that? Why is it in 4x3? How did you achieve this interesting wave effect, Hila?
This was also when the YouTube channel H3H3 Productions was created on April 30th, 2011. The name H3H3 is often translated as he, but the name came from the two initials, Ethan Edward Klein and Hila Hackman. While the channel gained popularity due to the Klein's reaction commentary and satirical comedy sketches, Ethan first used the platform to upload short comedic sketches with no real direction, which I think most YouTubers do when they first start creating content.
Cover all 9,000 taste bud. Aerate it. Warm it up.
Ethan described this period of his YouTube career as unwatchable.
There was no expectation at all. It was very much, I mean, our early videos are fucking so off the wall, dude, like unwatchable. So I'm not surprised at all that nobody watched them for that long.
Ethan and Hila married in 2012. In the early years of their YouTube career, they were living together in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Welcome to the fucking shithole neighborhood known as Florentine in Israel. And this is where me and Hila,
our first apartment.
first apartment we ever had together in the whole world was here in this neighborhood. In my opinion, this looks more like India than fucking, you can't even tell, this street doesn't even look that bad with all the fucking like wires and shit. We had like cockroaches, we had mice.
Yet Ethan, surprisingly during this time, exhibited his own version of anti-Semitism on the people living in Israel. Though now Ethan is the first to claim that others are anti-Semite Semites. In the past, it seems Ethan would often say blatantly offensive things, yet he believed them to just be a joke.
I could take these guys a little bit more seriously. Like these fucking double curls.
That is disgusting. But also, wearing a full suit in the summer. But they stink the whole place for everyone.
Stink suit. Here we got one to drive in a car. Careful, everybody. We'll get some good footage, hopefully, of these goofy ass rat tail motherfuckers. The home of the Jew, the Jewy Jew. This is home of the super Jew, the dirty, grimy, jacket-wearing Jews.
Ethan uploaded reaction content with his own unique style, alongside Hila's occasional commentary.
63 drill. Man, I love that pen and the cap look. It's so casual and like sexy. Does it work on me, Hila? How do I look?
Pretty hard, actually.
You do the introduce yourself thing.
You just tell them a compliment, you know, you do the introduce yourself thing. I mean, look, guys, it doesn't really matter what you say to these brainless creatures, okay? Why aren't we fucking men, by the way? I want to fuck dudes. I'm gay and I want to fuck dudes.
Come here.
Oh, 2 million.
The reaction style content became a huge success. This could have been due to the fact that at the time, in 2014, obnoxious, low-effort YouTube channels like Prank Invasion and SoFlo Antonio were receiving millions of views. Audiences needed a place to vent their frustration. H3H3 initially provided a community where audiences could essentially laugh at these creators, as Ethan sort of rightfully called them out for their preposterousness.
SoFlo is a unique case and he is beloved by all of us for such a great reason, and that's being that he puts himself in the videos he steals to somehow make it more like his brand.
Watch this really closely.
25 million views, 0 credits given.
This is me when she says she likes guys that play instruments.
11 million views, 0 credits given.
The viral video Vape Nation could be seen as the marker for H3's success. Dressing up as a typical vapor with psychedelic glasses, a marijuana-patterned headscarf, and a socks with sandals combo, Ethan Klein interacted with various members in New York City without breaking character. The persona that Ethan adopted for the video became an established meme. You almost wonder if it was sort of the genesis of the street interview, street prank videos that we see today all over social media. Because of the massive virality of Vape Nation, H3H3 Productions reached a new level of fame. Today, the video has over 28 million views, and it remains their most popular video to date. But ultimately, why did H3 gain a massive audience? What made the channel so likable? I think this quote from an article on Medium describes the phenomenon of the H3H3 success pretty well. When Ethan and Hila started H3H3 Productions back in 2011, they weren't chasing fame or influence. They were just awkward, funny people, making content that felt raw and real. Ethan's unfiltered rants, weird sketches, and hilarious reactions felt like the antidote to influencer culture, a breath of fresh air in an increasingly fake digital world. People loved them because they were authentic. They were awkward and messy, and they didn't try to hide it. Hila's quiet humor balanced Ethan's chaotic energy, and together, they felt like the internet's best friend. They laughed at the absurdity of online trends. They called out shady influencers. They made videos that felt like sitting on the couch with your funniest, weirdest friends. The Kleins created a second channel titled Ethan and Hila. On this channel, they posted in a sort of vlog style format.
We're gonna put 20 bucks in here, and if we don't win, I'm gonna be in big trouble because this is our last 20, so I really need us to win now.
In April of 2015, the Klein family moved to the United States. Initially, they chose Los Angeles, moving briefly to New York City, and then choosing to move back to LA only a year later. By February of 2016, H3H3 Productions reached 1 million subscribers. And only 6 months later, H3H3 passed the 2 million subscriber mark.
Welcome to Papa's house.
Welcome.
Today I come to you bearing great news, my friends. We have hit 2 million subscribers.
Oh, man.
Then H3 hit 3 million in December of that year. However, by 2016, Ethan and Hila felt the need to change gears. More and more reaction-style content creators were flooding the scene. On top of that, the amount of creators who were doing cringeworthy things were sort of running dry. At least you would think, though reaction-style content sort of made a resurgence later on. On top of that, creators like H3H3 had such a diehard following at the time that when they reacted to someone online, their fanbase flooded that creator's comment section and sometimes drove them off the platform entirely.
It was dying. We felt like H3 was dying. It was stale. People weren't happy. It wasn't growing. We almost completely stopped posting on H3 and worked on Ethan and Hila for like 2 or 3 months.
So towards the end of 2016, the couple started experimenting with live streaming on Twitch, which later evolved into the format the H3 podcast. I also want to note here, something that's not often talked about is some of the reasons why a ton of very successful YouTubers will often turn to podcasting. Even if a successful YouTuber's podcasts don't get as many views as some of their very successful YouTube video formats, podcasts make a significantly more amount of revenue than the YouTube videos that creator does. And for the sake of time, I'll just explain it really briefly. This is because through podcasting, a creator can put multiple ads in a single video. I mean, my normal videos are about a podcast length and I only do one sponsorship, but through a podcast, you can have like 5 ads throughout and put platform ad revenue in as well, essentially 5xing your ad revenue. On top of that though, podcasting sponsorships pay significantly more, at least from what I've been told. So switching to podcasting is often seen as a very strategic business move. I personally was always confused why content creators would switch to a podcast. So if you're like me, now you know. The first episode of the H3 podcast was uploaded on April.
It's heartbreaking to see Ethan's early struggles with anxiety and Tourette's turn into something beautiful at first. Meeting Ella, building a creative life in Israel. As a viewer in my 40s who's faced mental health battles, I relate to that raw vulnerability. But the irony hits hard. This foundation of empathy seems forgotten later. It feels like a tragic setup where personal pain could have fostered compassion, but instead bred isolation.
3rd, 2017, featuring Justin Roiland.
Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of the H3 podcast. We're so happy to have you here, and we're so excited to bring this show to you guys. Today, we have a very special first guest, Justin Roiland, the co-creator of Rick and Morty and a very close personal friend of ours. Guys, let's jump right in.
But the H3 podcast didn't just interview Ethan's famous friends. They also spoke with Ethan's famous influencer friends, which was, at the time, different from other podcasts. This means that the H3 podcast filled a void in the budding podcasting space. Most podcasts that had an interview format sought out traditional celebrities to interview. They didn't really take content creators seriously despite their ever-increasing influence at the time.
Joined with us today is Markiplier, the legend.
I don't know about that one.
You are kind of a legend on YouTube, my friend. And with us as well is Ian from Smosh, another legend. Titans of the industry. Titans, the most important people on YouTube.
How are you feeling about all this like praise?
I don't know, man.
But early on, the H3 podcast provided a space where some of the biggest internet personalities could come onto the show and tell their story. For example, the content creator PewDiePie often makes gaming videos, but going on to the H3 podcast, he told a behind-the-scenes story of his life, the complexities of fame, interactions with other creators. This gave an inside look into what many people were becoming more curious of, the behind the scenes of being a YouTube personality.
Is there anything that other YouTubers do that annoy you?
I wish you asked me that first. I can think about it a little bit. What came to mind right ahead was like the double-sided, two-facedness, I guess. A lot of people act one way online and then offline. They're the worst fucking person you've ever had to interact with. They're so bad that they don't realize they're bad, so you just kind of laugh at them while they're bad.
Ethan and Hila's existing fan base from H3 Productions gave them a launching pad for this podcast. They were able to easily connect with other creators, have them as guests on their podcasts, compared to a podcast that's just starting out, and were able to cross-pollinate audiences. By January of 2018, only a year later, the H3 podcast rivaled the H3 main channel, pulling in hundreds of thousands to millions of views per episode, which was unusual for podcasts at the time. That being said, many did complain about Ethan's job as a host, even back then, early on. People thought that he wouldn't often ask the hard questions of the guests on the show, or would often interrupt.
It's like, no.
Oh my God.
But which was so funny, but I don't think I would remember
that guy. Because you know what I hated about the guy? Watching the guy ordered a bagel.
And I feel like I can visualize it
Yeah, and
too.
he wanted butter on him. An airport.
Yeah. Usually on YouTube, I have no problem watching myself back. But on the podcast, it's like, oh my God, and my Tourette's is like so obvious. And, you know, when you're sitting with somebody and you end up talking over them, in your mind, it feels like a conversation. But in the VOD, you're just like, you
idiot, just shut up.
The H3 podcast channel has since launched several spin-off shows, most notably After Dark, H3 TV, and Off the Rails. It seems like the H3 podcast started as a fun and casual show, but over time, along with the success of the show, Ethan began to view himself as a serious podcaster. He essentially ripped himself away from his roots, and more, the Kleins began diving into serious endeavors, bigger and bigger investments that were reliant on an audience who loved and adored them. But they had millions of fans who loved and supported them. That would never go away, right? In 2017, Hila was inspired to start a clothing company. Hila went to art school. She liked fashion and design, but she felt like there was a lack of colorful clothing on the market, especially for adults. She compared in an interview this lack of colorful clothing to the colorful clothing out there for children. So she said, "I just decided to try and go for it. I just designed one capsule and thought whatever happens, happens." This decision to start a clothing line coincided with the adpocalypse in 2017. Many creators saw significant drops in ad revenue. Hila said, "Over the course of 2 weeks when the adpocalypse happened, the revenue went down 80%, which was just insane. And it kind of shook us because all of a sudden you realize you're totally at the hands of this company and you don't know what could happen at any moment." Hila decided to call the brand Teddy Fresh because Ethan and Hila loved the name Theodore or Teddy. Theodore happens to be the name of their first son. Teddy is the nickname they have for each other. Following the launch of Teddy Fresh's first collection in October of 2017, the brand almost immediately saw massive success. Much of its apparel would sell out shortly after dropping, and the line reflects Hila's own personal style.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
As Ethan's success grew, he became known as a strong voice on YouTube. Ethan gained a lot of success on the YouTube platform when he began advocating for other creator rights at an early stage when being a content creator was a new career for many, so it was ripe for grifters and people who took advantage of the unknown laws. Ethan called out CSGO on a video uploaded on July 4th, 2016, titled "Deception, Lies, and CSGO."
Those of you out there who know us best know that we here at H3 Productions are all about blasting ads. Today we're talking about CSGO gambling, which is really something that's taken the internet by storm these past couple of years.
In the video, Ethan spoke about how two popular gaming YouTubers were operating an illegal gambling operation through the game Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
When you compare opening a crate in CSGO, it looks almost identical to an online slot machine. Tons of CSGO gambling sites have propped up. I'm going to be focusing on two extremely popular YouTubers by the name of Pro Syndicate and T Martin. They have videos titled such as "How to Win $13,000 in 5 Minutes with CSGO Betting." Now, if that title doesn't sound just like a get-rich-quick scheme, then I'm the Pope. Like, are you creating entertainment or are you trying to get kids to gamble?
Ethan exposed to light how, in reality, while the two YouTubers were creating content about playing the game and virtually gambling on the site, the entire time the two YouTubers were founders of the essentially gambling site CSGO Lotto, which allows players to gamble using in-game items.
They own this site. Now, why is this shady? Because if they own the site, they have access to the back end of the website. They can control the outcome of every bet. They can fake the results to make promoting videos.
Following the release of Ethan Klein's video, which was in collaboration with the YouTuber Honor the Call, Polygon reported that a lawsuit was filed against Valve, one of the creators of CSGO. This lawsuit was filed by a player. This player accused the developers of allowing an online gambling market to develop within the game.
Now, this is when it gets really interesting. People have created a class action lawsuit against Valve, suing them for helping these gambling sites. So what this lawsuit alleges is that Valve knowingly allowed, supported, and or sponsored illegal gambling by allowing millions of Americans to link their individual Steam accounts to third-party websites. And they had this premonition like, this is an unregulated gambling market.
And CSGO Lotto was shut down soon after. A year later, Polygon reported that the Federal Trade Commission, as part of a settlement, demanded that the two be more transparent about their business ties moving forward. The fact that Ethan was involved in calling out creators who were conducting a shady online scheme that ended up in the FTC getting involved is pretty big news. and pretty monumental when it comes to influencers and their online businesses. And from there, not only did it seem like Ethan continued advocating for online content creation, but for the right of audiences, the well-being of online content creation without bad actors' involvement. In 2016, H3H3 posted a reaction video reacting to a guy named Matt Haas, a YouTuber who posted comedic skits on his channel Matt Haas Zone, often containing his bold guy persona. The reaction video posted to the H3H3 Productions channel was titled "The Big, the Bold, the Beautiful."
You have excellent form.
What are you, some sort of creep?
I don't know, lady. You're just spreading open your asshole on a sidewalk. I'm not sure you're in a position to be calling people creeps.
What I love about his videos is that he set up that situation.
Yeah, the blame really is on Matt.
This is his script.
The H3H3 video received millions of views. It's safe to say Matt Haas did not like that. Matt tried claiming that the reaction video was a re-upload of his content and that he was entitled to the legal earnings from the video.
What happens when he catches her? Does he have to like tackle her?
It does whatever he
No,
wants.
but like seriously.
On May 25th of 2016, the couple uploaded a video addressing the lawsuit that Matt levied against them.
Yes, we are being sued for copyright infringement, and it's been hanging over our lives like a cloud these past months.
Yeah.
We are being sued by Bold Guy, aka Matt Haas Zone. He doesn't like that we made fun of him, and so he's suing us. You know, you don't know what the jury's gonna say, and if they rule against us, we stand not only to lose a ton of money, but literally everything we've built our whole career.
Due to this early incident, Ethan and Hila appeared to be champions of fair use and reaction style content. An entire community came together to support them in their cause for fair use in its early days and interpretations, which influenced how audiences and creators interpret fair use and reaction style content to this day. Ethan and Hila even got assistance from other creators, like Ryan Morrison, the video game attorney, and Michael Lee, two lawyers turned content creators.
And he says, remove it, never talk about me again or this situation, and pay me $4,000. We could pay you $4,000, but like, what's the precedent that like anytime we make fun of someone, they could just write us a note from a lawyer and demand $4,000? It's like, this whole thing has always been bigger than us.
Midway through the negotiations, Matt had the Big, the Bold, the Beautiful video copyright striked, even though H3H3 already made the video private.
While we were in negotiations for everything, he, on our privated video that was already removed, I guess he still had the URL, and he did a strike, he did a takedown on our video when we were in good faith negotiations just because he wanted to fuck us.
Copyright strikes are very bad for creators and come with immediate penalties and long-term risks. But Matt didn't stop there. On April 27th, 2016, Matt Haas filed a first amended complaint and jury demand to the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York, where the Kleins lived at the time.
Most of what you've read and heard about the lawsuit has been full of lies and misinformation. And the reason I've been silent until now is because I don't want to compromise my case.
The filing claimed that the original work, Matt's video, comprised the majority of the infringing work, the H3H3 video. In reality, Ethan and Hila Klein appeared in 80% of their video.
The infringing video features the defendants purporting to discuss the work in what they believe to be a humorous manner, but in fact reproduces virtually all of the work as nothing more than a prop in the defendant's comedy routine. The video was 14 minutes. We counted it, and the parts that we used Matt's was approximately 3 minutes.
The filing demanded earnings from the H3H3 Patreon and threatened to sue YouTube if they removed the copyright strike. On May 25th, YouTuber Philip DeFranco created a GoFundMe page titled Help for H3H3. This GoFundMe page raised over $170,000 to help the Kleins with their legal fees. On May 26, 2026, H3H3 posted a video titled A New Chapter for Fair Use on YouTube. The Kleins announced the Fair Use Protection account, or the FUPA account. They claimed that this account will be used only for the purpose of protecting fair use. The Kleins vowed to join the fight against fair use protection on YouTube. They donated $5,000 of their own money.
We will be its first client. And that's why we decided to donate $5,000 of our own money. So we will be the first client of this account that will be known as the Fair Use Protection Account, also known as FUPA. The FUPA shall protect all of us. Thank you guys for helping augment the FUPA and making it voluptuous and big and powerful like we always knew that it was. If anyone out there thinks that they have a legitimate fair use claim and are being bullied, email fupa@morrisonlee.com. We've got a lawyer, a community that's there to stand up and help protect fair use. Thanks to your guys' contributions.
I was thinking when initially hearing about the FUPA account that so many creators, especially small creators, would greatly benefit from a fund like that, especially having legal assistance in complicated matters like copyright strikes and navigating these complicated issues. When I first started out, I got a random cease and desist in the mail from Russell Hartley that I had no idea what to do with. I've gotten copyright claims like 13 on my Tana Mojo video that were extremely complicated to remove, and have had very helpful friends that have given me advice. But to have something like the FUPA fund where you could go to and have assistance if you're a small creator, scared and have no idea what to do, would be extremely helpful. So I was looking into whether the FUPA fund was still in existence. But the FUPA fund dissolved and is no longer in use. A big reason for the FUPA fund's dissolution is that the Kleins use the FUPA fund for their own legal fees, as well as several $1,000s out of pocket to fight the legal battle against Matt Haas. While it is often the case that legal fees can add up and become more than you'd ever initially expect, well, the fact that the Kleins closed the FUPA fund after spending the money on their own legal fees, instead of keeping it open, maybe replenishing the fund once they're able to so that other creators could have used it, well, that's a little disappointing. This move received criticism from many, like Keemstar, who suggested that the Kleins scammed their audience. This, in turn, made Keemstar into an enemy of Ethan Klein. In the end, Ethan and Ela Klein won their lawsuit, with U.S. District Judge Catherine B. Forrest ruling that their commentary video constituted fair use as a matter of law, and describing it as quintessential comment and criticism.
I swear to God, it felt like this would never happen. Man, now I'm so happy we did it, because this is a landmark case, not just for us, but seriously, the wording that the judge put into the opinion is going to strengthen fair use across YouTube.
This wasn't just a landmark case for YouTube. This was a landmark case for Ethan and Ela Klein's career, for their brand. So many creators came together to support Ethan and Ela when everything was almost taken from them. Yet a pattern was beginning to emerge when it came to Ethan Klein. He always expected others to be there for him at his lowest moments. He always had enemies that he believed were working against him. But when his friends were at their lowest moments, well, they were content. Over time, since reaction style content became overdone, and Ethan became branded as a pioneer on YouTube who safeguarded other content creators, he turned his brand towards critiquing other content creators who took things too far. The only thing is, these content creators claimed that behind the scenes, Ethan acted as their friends. Essentially, publicly, Ethan was acting like a hypocrite. For example, Ethan uploaded a video titled The Leafy Rant. He accused content creator at the time Leafy of being a bully and picking on people who weren't able to defend themselves. Most of Ethan's takes, I would say, I would agree with personally.
Most of you guys probably know Leafy is here. A whole genre of YouTubers of these kind of commentary channels where they show video game footage and then talk about some kind of video and react to a video. I've been putting off talking about this because it's just, I'm actually friends with these guys. We as a community have been giving these guys a pass. Leafy made a video about a guy like he usually does, calling him a asshole, cringy, weirdo, you know, whatever. Turns out that this guy is actually autistic, and they made a video of themselves crying, saying they're getting death threats, and he's really upset. And I mean, if you look at Leafy's channel, all he does is make fun of kids and like vulnerable people. They don't need to be made fun of. And now that Leafy's channel has blown up, he's sending like millions of like kids to just harass these people.
The problem is, many people felt that Ethan was a pioneer of this sort of content style, and so he was a hypocrite. Like when Ethan criticized Leafy for making content critiquing children, when he himself had done the same thing before. Both, of course, very wrong.
When he missed his 5th period geometry test to hit the studio to record this sick track, Timmy knows what risk-taking is. Timmy rolls with his mom everywhere. He brings fire tracks and his mom's his biggest fan.
As a young white rapper who's new to the game.
Why did they feel the need to say that he's white?
In September of 2017, PewDiePie had made headlines for using the N-word.
What a fucking nigger. What the fuck?
This instant came just months after PewDiePie made headlines for videos containing anti-Semitic and Nazi imagery.
You probably won't believe me when I say this, but whenever I go online and I hear other players use the same kind of language that I did, I always find it extremely immature, and I hate how I now personally fed into that part of gaming. I said the worst word I could possibly think of, and it just sort of slipped out.
Ethan spoke about the incident on the H3 podcast.
What you get is, I mean, refreshing in that it's pretty sincere.
Yeah.
Pretty owning up to what he did. But I don't know, when I first saw that, I was pretty shocked. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't that long ago that all of us came out and rallied against him, you know?
Against him?
Or I mean, in support of him.
Ethan had befriended the YouTuber iDubbbz, who at the time, due to his pretty toxic content, developed a relatively toxic fan base who had admired his edgy content. His comedy would often include the use of racist and homophobic slurs.
We are very fucking stupid to hold the word nigger at this colossally high standard.
During an H3 podcast featuring iDubbbz, Ethan recited the same racist and homophobic slurs. At some point, even Ian, aka iDubbbz, looked uncomfortable, questioning whether Ethan was taking the bit a little bit too far.
Yeah, I've already said the N-word. You can't take me down.
Someone makes a compilation, it's like, here's Ethan saying nigger.
Well, who said nigger faggot? The nigger faggot has just been around the block.
Yeah.
I love that I can just say nigger faggot.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like you're using it a little liberally.
I love saying nigger. It's so wonderful.
Yeah.
So
now you're gonna get shit for it.
Nigger faggot whore. It's just a wonderful string of words that fuck you, nigger faggot.
And his whole thing is that he says nigger faggot. And saying nigger faggot. He's a hypocrite because he said nigger before.
Oh my God.
Well, Ethan said nigger before, and someone makes a compilation. It's like, here's Ethan saying nigger, referring to the word and saying nigger in a reference. H3's a hypocrite because he said nigger on his podcast. It's like, dude, I think there's a clear difference between saying nigger and referencing it. I said he said nigger when I'm me saying nigger faggot. I was at a party and said nigger and she left. And they're like, oh, Ethan said nigger.
He said it!
I have nothing to apologize for.
Present day, Ian or iDubbbz would post a video apologizing for his past content. He admitted that he cultivated an audience who believed that this type of dialogue was acceptable.
I was saying slurs and I was trying to justify it all. A very big thing that has sort of altered my view on all of this is just the amount of hate and harassment my wife Anissa has received over the years. I have done a horrible job at acknowledging her and her feelings for it. That's the culture that I cultivated, and I, didn't do anything to change that.
His behavior also attracted racist people who could use that dialogue and pass it off as just edgy humor. Yet Ethan, on the other hand, largely ignores this part of his past, even his possible blackface. His viewers even enable this behavior, claim those images are taken out of context, and stem from the Kleins doing spray tans and charcoal face masks, even though the title of their YouTube video is called The Black Challenge. Subreddits, on the other hand, won't let Ethan forget this history. Compilations exist online of Ethan saying the N-word.
How many dicks I got to suck? Nick can't love the suck dick. Yo, the whole crowd gathered around one nigga. They talking about how one nigga figure how we can suck the whole party. We just need to feel and taste like a nigga. So how many dicks I got to suck? I got AIDS, nigga spreading AIDS. He said, nah, nigga, I can't take that shit. Nigga, you too ugly. And all y'all niggas at home, because y'all can do anything. Yeah, I'm number 0, nigga. Number 0, nigga, and y'all niggas got the life. If you think that I'm a racist and a hypocrite, unsubscribe.
Yeah,
Don't
just
watch.
leave.
Don't watch. My most recent video is making fun of a black person.
But here's where things get very dark. The strange videos that Ethan and Hila have taken part in aren't only offensive, they're extremely disturbing. And I would say, personally, they go far beyond what even Leafy and PewDiePie have posted. The very people Ethan has called out for being wrong in videos they've posted. I think his content has gone far beyond that. You've been warned for the content that I'm about to show you, and how it completely shatters the image that Ethan and Hila have spent crafting online. The image of being advocates on the side of creators, of people. Ethan Klein sexualizes and mocks Boston Marathon bombing survivor in a deleted video, then fantasizes about orally R-wording her. Ethan Klein was 28 years old when they filmed this video. It was recorded by Hila Klein, the owner of Teddy Fresh. Keep that in mind. Ethan and Hila were married, and Hila was filming this video that you're about to watch. Ethan comments on this Boston Marathon bombing survivor. The purpose of that video was for Ethan Klein to mock the girl for making a political statement by doing a photo shoot with "You can scar me, but you can't stop me" written on her stomach and showing her scars. Why? Ethan suggests this is inconsiderate because others actually died from the bombs. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The girl's name is Sydney Corcoran. Her mother lost both her legs. She was 17 years old at the time of the bombing and 18 years old in the photo. That photo was part of a photo shoot where survivors returned to Boston to symbolically finally cross the finish line 1 year after the bombings. This video, of course, will be heavily censored for the sake of the viewers, but also, most importantly, for the sake of the bombing victim.
Thanks for joining me on Edgy Material Warning number 3. You can scar me, but you can't stop me. Now that is interesting and very deep and poetic, but what's even more interesting is if we just go a couple pixels down. Boom. That's some good toe, girl. Yeah. Let me get down with that shit. I can smell it from here. Pretty brutal scars. Nothing that a heavy night of won't incur, you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, ignoring the camel, that fat, juicy, juvenile, but wants to fuck that shit, boy. Yeah. Ignoring that. By the way, I don't know if you guys saw, but you can see her, and this makes it a much more powerful image. She got a nice smug face. Good to I would ram my... I hope she can keep that smug smile for me that whole time, you know what I mean? Big up to her for being brave, getting out here and making this very powerful political statement about her proximity to the bomb being less close than all the other ones who died. You can scar her, but you can't stop her, guys. And never forget, Boston bombing, 2013, guys. Never forget.
For Ela to be someone who is in the IDF, to have claimed that she experienced various hardships growing up in Israel, fear of bombings from Muslim countries, and then take part in mocking a bombing victim, that personally causes me to lose all sympathy for the two of them whatsoever. Ethan has continually, over the years, said incredibly creepy things when it comes to women. Like when he said on the H3 podcast in front of Joji and Post Malone that women are meant to be conquered. Joji's reaction says it all.
Our Neanderthal cousins were like crazy. So there's definitely something like in us to like conquer. Men want to like conquer.
Right.
So it's, you know, women are in a nature setting, like, to be conquered.
Maybe we do have a problem with accountability culture, not in the ways in which we hold other people accountable, but in the ways that we're not able to hold ourselves accountable, hold a mirror up to ourselves, grow as individuals, understand where we went wrong, change, move forward. Try to do better. When you point the finger, you have 3 fingers pointing back at you. Ethan's fans didn't seem to realize the extent of his past. At least many of them didn't. And Ethan was making waves as a content creator who stood up either for or against other content creators. So to many, they trusted him, his opinions, the ways in which he condemned others. Rules for thee, but not for me. While Ethan's fans trusted him, what they didn't know or realize was that to Ethan, they were becoming his armor, his army, a way to take down his enemies. Through the years, instead of lifting other creators up, like the initial promise he sold to the world, Ethan tore others down to lift himself up. Ethan thrived off of having someone to hate. He always had many enemies online and few friends. Or when he had friends, they seemed to bond off of their mutual enemies. This is something he roped his audience into without even realizing it. For example, one of Ethan's biggest enemies throughout his career was fellow village troll Keemstar. Ethan's audience seemed to be sort of parasocially involved in Ethan's disdain for Keemstar without maybe even realizing such, to the extent that when Ela announced her pregnancy online, many of the comments were as such. Keemstar, hearing about Ela and Ethan being happy and pregnant. Me if Keemstar bothers Ela while she's pregnant. Back off, bitch. While it could just be a joke, a shared meme to viewers, they, without realizing it, were participating in a long-standing pattern that Ethan had of needing to have many enemies to tear down and go against, and build a fan base that could help him in his crusade. While many of Ethan's audience saw Keemstar as an easy enemy to dislike, the tide started shifting when Ethan began demanding that they see likable people Ethan brought onto his show as his friends, as enemies that they now turn against as well. But this strategy, at least initially, worked out well for the Kleins, catapulting their online success and following, bolstering their net worth. Ethan Klein has a net worth of $20 million, and Ela Klein has a net worth of $25 million, though some of the ways this wealth has been acquired may be perceived as less than savory. In the fashion industry, the act of copying, or at least borrowing heavily from someone else's designs, is pretty common. In September 2020, Ethan Klein said that James Charles' new merch line looked pretty identical to items from Ela's recent Teddy Fresh collection.
That hoodie is like our most iconic piece. It's our #1 seller. It has been for years. And like James Charles making, it's exactly the same hoodie.
It's actually been ripped off a lot too, but normally like...
Here, let me show it because people may not know.
We wouldn't really do anything about it because what can you do? But I think in this case it just kind of hurt because it's a fellow YouTuber who's actually got way bigger influence than we do.
Yeah, way big.
And so it just kind of hurts.
Ela then shared photos of the 2017 sketches of her color block hoodie, revealing a pattern and color scheme similar to the sisters' hoodies. Initially, James responded with a photo of the inspiration for his hoodies, saying that he's never seen the Teddy Fresh color block hoodies. Ethan released the DMs between him and James and spoke further about them, claiming that James Charles admitted that he did not care, even if one of his team members did steal the Teddy Fresh designs.
This is the part that I really want to share, but you won't let me. The thing is, he brought up the DM, so I feel like he's saying it's okay to share it.
He's not.
But he literally said after I confronted him, and I hadn't seen this colorway here, he says, oof, just to give you a heads up, it appears that this one has the exact same colors. And it looks like the design team totally ripped you off. He literally said that.
Hi, sisters.
And I said, wow, so it doesn't seem like a coincidence, does it? And he said, it's not. He says, it does not appear to be a coincidence. So he literally admit that they ripped us off in the DM.
It seems pretty clear that potentially he personally was not aware, although that is very questionable too. But let's say that it was not someone on his team.
Watching Ethan mock a bombing survivor or make conquest comments about women leaves me shocked and sad. It's not just edgy, it's cruel. As someone who's seen friends battle trauma, this humanizes the harm. It's not just jokes. The Teddy Fresh scandals add injustice, ripping off artists while preaching fairness. It resonates like a betrayal, reminding me how success can corrupt. Ethan's early advocacy feels hollow now, a reflection of unchecked ego, destroying what could have been genuine growth.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, ultimately, it's his responsibility.
One would assume that Teddy Fresh having someone plagiarize their designs would make the clients against doing something similar. However, in 2021, a Reddit user came forward with allegations that some designs used by Teddy Fresh in a collection themed around dinosaurs had been copied directly from a 1990 knitting pattern booklet. The book, titled Dinosaur: 5 Knitting Patterns, was created by Gary Kennedy, who made various licensed knitting pattern booklets in the 1980s and 1990s. On the H3 podcast, Ethan admitted that the designs were plagiarized, but he claimed that the design was submitted by someone who was previously fired back in 2021, months earlier. Despite trying to pass the blame onto an anonymous former employee, Ela admitted in an interview with People that she's very involved in the design and all of the creative when it comes to Teddy Fresh. Regardless, Ethan still made comments like, we could probably still legally sell it, suggesting that nothing would happen if Teddy Fresh still sold the designs without crediting Gary Kennedy.
Okay, first of all, the Teddy Fresh thing. So Teddy Fresh is a company with 30 employees. And by the way, I love whenever someone's losing a debate to me, they bring this up. It's literally the lowest hanging fruit.
Go ahead,
we
Ethan.
have like a whole team of designers, and sometimes our designers are taking stuff way too close to the source.
Yeah, bring out Hila. Hey, bring him in.
Hold on. Let me finish. Teddy Fresh, we have designers, right? And it's we have a fairly large company. This is a common problem in all streetwear. We've had designers who have pretty much close to stole designs. We fired people over it, and every time it comes up, we have company meetings.
1 month later, in December of 2021, Teddy Fresh debuted another sweater. We collaborated with Gary Kennedy on our vintage dinosaur sweater, who in the 1980s and 1990s led a world-renowned company that produced intarsia knitting patterns. Much love to Gary, who was gracious enough to lend us his design. Despite seemingly learning their lesson, this would not be allegedly the last time that Teddy Fresh stole designs. Allegedly. In the past, the brand has ripped a bear from a vintage t-shirt, only changing the color scheme before slapping a logo on it and reselling it. They did something similar to another random vintage t-shirt. In another side-by-side photo, Teddy Fresh seemingly ripped off an ASOS sunflower design, with only slight differences and the Teddy Fresh logo. Teddy Fresh also made a similar design to Prada's Flame and Tarsha sweater. Pandora's upholstery also fell victim to the brand. And more recently, it seems like artists have lost interest in Hila, have stopped working with the brand. The respect for Teddy Fresh has fallen. What was once a respected endeavor, where a YouTuber went beyond the realms of content creation, is now floundering, and Hila is notably freaked out about it. Recently, there's a Reddit post by an alleged insider who claimed that Teddy Fresh is not doing well. Take everything I say here with a grain of salt, as I am not affiliated with the brand, but I'm close to a couple of people who work or have worked for Teddy Fresh. Just before Christmas, they laid off about a third of their employees. Money is a major reason why. Anyone can deduce that the company is not pulling in what it used to. However, what I've heard is that production is mismanaged at every level. My opinion is that H&E, Hila and Ethan were spoiled by high-selling early releases and began to think anything the company touched would turn to gold. Now, obviously not the case. The result of this is layoffs. Hardworking people treated like collateral thanks to things being so poorly managed. The people I've spoken to are not confident that the company will be around much longer.
Well, actually, it's up to 80% off some of this. We did deep discounts because, like, we just want to get, you know, it's like, okay, we have like 10 4XLs. But it's a good opportunity. Rick and Morty, sorry guys, it's a heavy discount. I mean, I paid for the product. I got to unload it.
The Kleins used to have famous associates, influencers they knew, who would support their brands, associate with their name. But over the course of the last few years, they have few friends and even fewer frenemies. Though at one point, Ethan was a part of the most famous online frenemy-ship.
Wow, Ethan. Great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Why frenemies or love-hate relationships are so bad for your health. In a May 2019 video titled Instagram versus Reality, Ethan discussed the growing epidemic that was tearing apart lives, families, worst of all, social media. That was the issue, that sometimes people looked differently in photos than they did in real life. This video gained 13 million views. People were really concerned that women were deceiving people, these tricksters, these witches. And the main person that Ethan called out in the video was Trisha Paytas, who he called the spokesperson of Instagram versus Reality.
Come on, people, let's get a grip here. Yes! This girl is the spokesman of Instagram Reality. Why are you even a model if you're gonna modify your looks that much? It's like from beauty queen to WWF wrestler in 2 seconds. You cannot Photoshop your heart and soul. Remember that.
Trisha responded on Twitter, posting several tweets, including one calling Ethan disgusting and a bully. She posted a video titled H3H3 is harming young girls.
It just made me so sad and upset that, like, there's this 40-year-old man shaming, like, girls. And I'm gonna speak for myself because I was featured heavily in the video, shaming girls for really just how they look. He would take my one photo that I was glam for on Instagram and compare it to like a video like this or a vlog video where I have no makeup on. It wasn't the same day. It was completely different looks. And I was like, okay, your point is to try and prove this is not how this person looks in reality. But you're not taking like a photo from that day with my hair and makeup done with another video clip of my hair and makeup done that day. And it just was like, what's the point you're trying to prove that I am not attractive without, when I have hair and makeup done, I'm a lot more attractive. And I understand that, and that's why I get it done, and I pay to get it done. And I have a second channel where I just show myself makeupless because it's taken me a long time to get comfortable at that point.
At its core, Trisha made some valid points. If women are photoshopping their photos, it could be because they're insecure, and making a video blasting that insecurity out to the public, to millions of viewers, probably not going to help them. Trisha also mentioned that a variety of factors could influence how someone's looking depending on the day. I definitely did not wake up looking like this. Depending on whether I'm going through depression, in a better mental state, in a worse mental state, I probably look look widely differently. And that doesn't necessarily mean that a woman is deceiving her audience, not to mention the pressure women often feel to adhere to the beauty standards.
It just made no sense. So people facetune their bodies to make them feel better about themselves. Okay. There's also very real sides to everybody that they show on social media. I show everything. I show everything. So to use that as an example is like disgusting. So unethical because it's so far off. You use two separate photos from different days to compare my ugliness to my pretty pictures. Like, it like honestly made me like physically sick, and it's like, I really love YouTube, and lately it's been so hard. Everyone deals with hate, that's part of the internet, but to have like another influencer just trash like your looks, and a middle-aged male at that, like, who are you to say that? Like, and then it just made me so sad because for anyone else watching, like, people literally, girls like take their lives over stuff like that. Like, they feel so ugly. They're made to feel so ugly.
Ethan, in his own responses, seemed unaware of the whole beauty standard aspect of it all and preached that everyone should feel comfortable in their own skin.
We need to understand collectively, nobody's that happy. We are all miserable. They're just so much better at faking it. And you know what they're doing? They're making all of us feel even worse. That's why today I am proud to present to you one of the best subreddits in the game, Instagram Reality, where they take a snippet from someone's Instagram or social media and show you the actual reality behind the post. Today, I guarantee you that you will be feeling better, more confident. We need to embrace that and lift ourselves up in the knowledge that we are all ugly, pathetic monsters that just want to eat McDonald's every day.
You should listen to Ethan. This is definitely a man who feels very comfortable in his own skin. Ethan addressed the situation for the final time on the H3 podcast.
I didn't know who she was, to be honest with you, but I guess she's actually quite a big YouTuber. She has like 5 million followers or something. And so we put her in the thumbnail because her comparison was just so epic to me. She says, please, Ethan Klein, do not raise your child to be as ignorant as your husband. I would divorce him ASAP as he's causing so much damage to young women. It's actually sickening. I've never been more disgusted. That you stand by him is even more disgusting.
Yet the feud between Ethan and Trisha would be reignited months later when Trisha came out with a video titled I Am Transgender. Spoiler alert, Trisha still identifies as female. Ethan commented on the backlash against Trisha during an episode of the H3 podcast.
YouTube personality Trisha Paytas set off a series of disapproving social media reactions Monday after claiming to be trans, despite identifying 1000% with her birth gender. Checkmate.
I mean, that's a direct quote from her. That's not editorializing.
Still, checkmate. The video is about 15 minutes long, begins with Paytas warning that people might think I'm trying to be offensive or set back the movement. She appears to identify as transgender on a part-time basis.
In response, Trisha uploaded a video titled H3 is worse than Donald Trump. On Twitter, a user demands that Ethan have Trisha as a guest on the podcast, and Ethan responds if she's man enough. Trisha replies, $18 million and I'll do it. Ethan says, you'd definitely do it for free. A few days later, on October 18th, 2019, Ethan uploaded a video mocking Trisha's apology videos.
Hey guys, it's Ethan here again. I just wanted to come on really fast and apologize to everybody. I totally did not expect the backlash from our last video. I wanted to basically apologize to Trisha Paytas, who is such a sweet, genuine person, and I just really, I wanted to first of all apologize for saying that she looked like she was at an open casket funeral, like she was the corpse inside of a casket. I mean, that's not true. That's just not what I meant at all. You're so beautiful. You're such a queen. And I also wanted to apologize for saying that you have like a 5 to 10 inch engorged that's bigger than my. I mean, that would basically make you a guy. That would basically mean you had a. And well, I guess I'm kind of confused because you said you're trans, but I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend you. And I know that. And I'm sorry for saying that you're not trans. Man, even though you have like cup F jugs that are always on display and not, that would make you, I don't know, but gender's all in the mind anyway, and I shouldn't even go there, but mostly I just want to apologize to Trisha and say that I think she's really hot. And it definitely doesn't look like she definitely doesn't look like, you know, she's she's been passed around as much as a bowling ball, and she's gone through as much as a bowling ball too. Like, she's just always hitting pins.
But Trisha surprised many when she appeared on the H3 podcast on October 26, 2019. Despite our differences and a few rocky moments, it was really fun having you in the studio. Ethan tweeted to Trisha after the episode dropped.
Well, first of all, Trisha Paytas is here to. Are we here to squash the beef or roast the beef?
Ooh. I would love to squash it, but I like you guys talking about me. I actually genuinely hated you at the beginning of this year in May. Like, I genuinely, when you did that video.
From the Instagram reality one?
Yeah, like, genuinely disliked you and thought you were, like, disgusting.
I don't think I'm a troll.
I think you're a troll.
I think you're a troll.
No.
Are you a troll?
No.
Trisha and Ethan appeared to settle their differences. On the podcast, the pair had a genuine conversation regarding gender and social identity.
It's just the reality of it.
But you are
You
a
mean that
man.
you weren't born with
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that I wasn't born with a penis is what they're
Oh.
saying. My point is, a lot of people are transphobic. Me coming out transgender is not going to help my dating life. It's not going to. Why would I put that on myself to hurt? I'm trying to date. I'm trying to get married. Why would I put that out there just so people can look up that I'm a transgender if I truly don't believe that?
Trisha returned to the H3 podcast months later. The Kleins reintroduced a dating game to help Trisha find love.
So we've got Trisha back here, and the reason that Trisha is joining us today is, as you all know, Ian's had a season of The Bachelor. We thought Trisha Paytas, now that's the next season of The Bachelorette. That has to be.
Although Trisha did not end up dating anyone from the video, she did have interest in Hila's brother, Moses.
I don't
Does
know.
your brother think I'm hot though? He like was down?
Well,
He
I
knew-
don't talk to him about.
But he knew it was.
No, he wanted.
hot.
Yeah, he wanted to apply.
He wanted to apply though. He did tell us he was going to.
Like in a serious way?
Yes.
Wow. Why haven't you just hooked it up then? Why did we have to do all this? Why didn't you just be like, oh, like Hila's brother wanted to date you? I'd be like, yes.
He doesn't want to marry you necessarily.
How do you know? Oh, because he's Jewish.
Well, I don't know.
That's literally my type, and he looks so good.
Trisha later tweeted out photos of her and Moses social distancing together.
There's more. We will see these on her Instagram stories. In bed with somebody.
Yeah.
And
just see
and
an
we see a
arm.
hand, and I'm like, again, cryptic. I think it's his arm. Quarantine date night. This is a separate day. So whoever this is come back to her house, a date night. She calls it a date night, and whoever it is brought dinner, which by the way looks like quite a fancy dinner too.
I know my brother, and I immediately spotted his stickers on the table.
So he's hanging out with her now more, not telling us. I'm like, yo, what's
Yes.
going on with Trisha? Downplaying it.
Towards the end of March 2020, she posted a photo of the pair together on Twitter. At the end, I won The Bachelorette. Hila responded at the time saying, "Stop this right now," with a vomiting emoji. At first, the internet wasn't really sure if Trisha was trolling or not, but as time went on, she seemed pretty serious about Moses, and often expressed her frustration about Ethan and Hila meddling in their relationship.
I am just not someone who's comfortable with someone else sharing my narrative.
On September 15th, 2020, Trisha and Ethan joined forces and launched the Frenemies podcast, where they relied on their tumultuous chemistry to carry each episode. The set even aligned with each respective host's personality and the energy they exude. Ethan's side was dark, gloomy, pessimistic. Trisha's bright, pink, and vibrant.
Well, my friends, here we are. They said it would never happen. Me and Trisha making a podcast, and frankly, I thought they were right for a while.
Despite both of them being very honest that things could go wrong very quickly, they embraced the idea of doing business together.
Someday you'll be my sister-in-law.
No, I don't think
'cause
so.
it's-
I'm Hila's sister-in-law.
You're still my sister-in-law if you marry my brother-in-law.
I mean, I'll
no?
take it. Oh, our babies would be related.
Cousins.
Oh, cute, because they have the same genetics. Skinny.
I thought you couldn't have kids because you had double gonorrhea or something.
Yeah. I mean, I have a uterus still, so like I can still get like IVF or something.
That being said, things often went wrong on the Frenemies podcast, which probably made it a very stressful working environment, but very entertaining for viewers. In one episode, Trisha seemingly blindsided Ethan by mentioning his substance issues out of the blue to prove that he's not as open as he claimed. Ethan responded by accusing Trisha of weaponizing his issues against him. Trisha storms out of the podcast episode, creating a viral moment that received millions of views online.
You hide it more, just like Mikey, who hides.
Oh, really?
It all gets brought to the surface
I don't hide
later
any.
on.
I don't hide.
You do hide the crazy.
I'm all out there with
You
no
don't
fucking eyebrows and everything.
You were into pills. You never talk about that you were a pill addict for a minute.
What?
Yeah, you said that. You said you were really into pills. and you don't talk about that.
Why do I need to talk about that? This is why you are such a dangerous person, especially to be close with. You'll take something that somebody told you in confidence and you'll use it, you'll weaponize it against them.
That's not true.
That's what you just did.
You called me crazy, knowing my history.
Bro,
you
we always
crazy.
call you crazy. You're like upfront
but
crazy.
if you're gonna call me crazy, then I'm gonna say, hey, why don't you own up to what you've done? That's
that
also
doesn't make
crazy.
me crazy. I'm joking around, and then you go, okay, so what do I have to weaponize against Ethan? Oh, he told me he used to take bills in Israel.
You want me to weaponize you? Because I have things I could actually weaponize you with.
Ultimately, when you look at the way that Trisha was used on the H3 podcast, it seems like she was often used as a way to stoke her flames for views and engagement. This is something that Ethan has done in the past to other content creators that he's seen as easily provoked for engagement. Ethan Klein used to associate with the creator JonTron, who was exposed for some incredibly horrible, like blatantly bad takes that had him virtually cancelled. Yet after the fact, Ethan invited him onto the H3 podcast to have a discussion.
So after 8.5 months, now you give JonTron a platform to defend himself?
It happened, how long ago was that now?
I don't keep track. 9 months or something.
Ethan continued to say things that seemed intentional to sort of garner a reaction within JonTron.
I don't really want to get into this. It's a minefield of sorts. I'm not going to go back and nitpick everything I said and say and qualify it or anything. The main question on everyone's mind is, oh, is he a racist? Is he a Nazi? No.
Do you feel like you said some things that you regret?
Yeah, I don't like reliving it.
Did you have a lot of self-aware moments during that where
Of course,
you're like,
the whole time.
Jimmy Lee was a former dentist turned comedian. He gained widespread attention around early 2016 when Ethan Klein reacted to one of his videos.
This guy's on fire.
Hey, I'm one f***ed-up dentist.
What? The thing that's f***ed up is that he's a real dentist.
Yeah.
So when he's saying, hey, I'm one f***ed up dentist, hey,
Yeah.
little shop of horror, he's actually a real dentist. I don't want to go to your little shop of horror. You know what I mean? No, man.
Then Jimmy appeared in an H3 podcast in 2017, where Ethan started the episode by making condescending remarks about Lee.
He opens the podcast by basically bashing him and discrediting him as a comedian.
His comedy style is essentially roasting people he's never met before.
Then after talking shit about him, he welcomes him onto the podcast.
Jimmy Lee, welcome, the legend.
The guest actually reveals himself to be kind of, a decent guy.
Is it possible? Are you gonna be there the whole time?
Are you filming?
Are you filming?
We have 3 cameras in
just-
here, Jimmy.
I mean, I
He's
don't mind
B-roll.
the...
Get out, dude.
Yet another, more recent episode is a frequent segment the H3 podcast would have with a disabled creator named Gabe, who Ethan would often use for content through baiting Gabe to say outlandish things for essentially a good clip or good content. Like in this clip where Ethan asked Gabe about his experience in doing a sexual act.
You ever gone down on a girl, Gabe? Have you ever? You haven't. Is that something you're looking to try?
Yeah, someday.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. What is your birthday coming up?
like practicing.
How do you practice? Do you ever practice on like the corner of your elbow? Right here?
Just being a gentleman, I guess.
Yeah, you're a good man, Gabe. You're gonna
No,
make a girl really happy
I practice
someday.
in front of the mirror.
Oh my God, can you do it right now? Pretend you're in front of the mirror. Oh, you're ready to go, Gabe. You're gonna make a girl very happy.
Poor Gabe, not realizing he's being used. Right after this, Ethan says, looking forward to your birthday next Friday, which of course they didn't attend. When Gabe is on the show all the time for frequent segments to be laughed at. I'm so glad Gabe has actual friends and, by the looks of it, a fulfilling life with lots of positivity. Nowadays, at times, Ethan will claim that his mental health is being used by others, that he's being baited into reacting, or others will claim that in defense of Ethan. But Ethan is one of the content creators that set that sort of system up. Again, rules for thee, but not for me. If you can't give Ethan something, either an entertaining clip or enough views from your own platform, he doesn't care what you have to say. William Osman is an engineer who created a beanie that could talk, an invention his audience suggested he make for Ethan specifically in 2018.
Today's project is an animatronic beanie for the Fupa King himself, Ethan of H3H3.
During that summer, Ethan invited William onto the H3 podcast when William's subscriber base was almost at 700K. But Ethan didn't seem to view William as a valuable person to have on the show. The interview was limited to 20 minutes, instead of being the main focus of the show. Once his 20 minutes were done, William was ignored and awkwardly instructed to leave.
They basically just talk about how his house burned down for a good 15 minutes of his 20 minutes. Immediately after this, they transition swiftly into the talking beanie.
Well, I'm happy that you made it out.
Me too.
I mean, you really saved the most important thing, really.
I agree.
You went and you got the beanie in. Let me try this thing on. Let's see. Let's
We got sound effects.
turn it up, Dan. God bless. I think I did the bit.
Nice. That was good.
Thank you, everyone. Round of applause for the beanie god.
So far they've talked about his house burning down, and he's presented them the beanie. So what's next?
All right, that was great. I had a lot. So, thank you very much. I'll say, William.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So that's it. They just wanted him to come on, talk about his tragedy, and then give him the beanie and get out.
Well, once again, thank you so much, William. And really appreciate you coming out here all the way from Ventura.
These examples show that ultimately, Ethan isn't this internet vigilante he was made out to be. Instead, he's an expert at content creation and always putting himself at the forefront, sacrificing the needs of others if it doesn't benefit his platform or create good content. The thing is, though Trisha was seen as easily provoked, which made for good content, like other examples which had worked out in the past, she was also unpredictable, using the system the H3 podcast had set up against them.
Should we make up or are we hating?
I'm literally over it. I'm so over it. I don't
Really?
even care if
I'm
Moses
not.
breaks up with me over this. Bye.
Why would Moses break up over a podcast?
Because I don't like his family. And I don't like hanging out with you guys. And you guys are awful. And that's it. And yeah, I said it.
But you liked me when we started.
No, I was trying to be nice and fun. But I actually don't really care that much for you.
Really? You never liked me?
Nope.
I feel that you're really upset now.
Okay.
Especially since Trisha had been dating Moses, she had a view into Ethan's personal life and ammunition she could use against him. When Ethan directs the heat at her, tries to embarrass her or make her look crazy to garner a reaction, she's able to fire back at him in a way that other guests weren't able to easily do. But oftentimes, when Trisha would storm off in a podcast episode, the internet attributed this to her diagnosed BPD, or borderline personality disorder. Either behind the scenes or on camera with the assistance of Dr. Drew, the two would make up and they would resume making the Frenemies episodes. Then another situation would occur. During another episode, when Trisha said that they should have Hila on as a podcast guest, Ethan said, seemingly out of the blue, that she's not allowed to mention Hila anymore, which seemingly would be uncomfortable and upsetting, considering Trisha was dating Hila's brother at the time.
What triggered you again? What were we talking about?
Hila being too good for me to talk about on this podcast. Don't even mention her. And she's a queen. Like, don't even mention me on the podcast.
Right, that's
even
why.
though I'm a literal podcaster.
We had a full meltdown while you were gone.
Expect another text from your sister. We were talked about. They never once consulted me at the
I
beginning
said
of
it's a
spring. She has a podcast. I brought life to the H3 channel, but Hila's too good to even mention her name. I said nothing bad. I said, like, oh, we should have her as a guest or whatever. Like that. Don't
No.
even mention Hila. She doesn't want to be talked about. I think we should just end it, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too.
She's such a
She's not.
and you are too, and you're
After the podcast episode, Trisha made a few follow-up videos. Her main point was that Ethan intentionally does things to push her over the edge.
I put up with Ethan purposely triggering me, trying to trigger me on multiple occasions. He likes having that thumbnail of me leaving, right? That's the meme. Even up until the last one, I said, I don't want to walk off. I don't want to end the show because then the meme is you sitting alone and I'm walked off. You see Trisha leaving, whatever. And even up until the last one, they didn't cut after we ended the show. They cut seconds after when I walked off. I always put up with the triggers and I allowed myself to be triggered. And this is beyond, this is not walking on eggshells. It's like, oh, I say one wrong thing. No, this is times where I'm like, don't share the private messages from episode 1, where he shared messages I sent to him, where he shared Moses' private messages, and we asked him on the show not to. Like, there's just not respecting boundaries. I don't know boundaries well, and I try to set them as best as I can, but that was a boundary. And like, it's him constantly saying, no, I'm pushing.
Again, Dr. Drew was brought onto the podcast to repair the relationship.
So here's where the problem comes in. Trisha comes on the show and she frequently repeats stuff that Moses tells her. So let me just finish my point, then you can respond. So for example, Trisha will say, and you did say in that episode, Moses doesn't even like you guys anyway. You guys wouldn't be invited to our wedding, or you guys aren't close with Moses. She always says stuff like that I feel like is driving a wedge between Moses and his family.
Okay, so Trisha,
and by the way, and then there's more. There's more because
I don't need more. I don't want.
There is more.
Can we
This is
just,
important.
like, break it down for this part
No,
and then
but
have him reply
this
to
is
what you
important.
just said?
There's one more piece that I think is important.
All right, go ahead.
When I ask Moses, when Ela asks Moses about it, Moses says, "I didn't say that."
That's actually not important. But
okay, it's not important.
Relax.
The format of Frenemies seemed to work best when the two co-hosts shared a common enemy. They would both be friends when they were sharing an enemy, but when their conversations diverted into personal topics, the host quickly derailed into personal attacks. On June 8th of 2021, the podcast aired its 39th episode. Immediately, the energy in the podcast episode seemed off and went further off the rails from there. Ethan seemed disinterested in the topics that Trisha wanted to discuss, distracted by the pizza in front of him. Trisha called a bit centered around answering audience questions stupid and lazy. Ethan responded, "A lazy podcast? You don't do anything for it. You just show up. We do all the work." And the two got into an argument over Frenemies' creative direction and finances.
It's like the fact that you just talk about what you talked about the week prior.
Sometimes I forget what I've talked about, honestly.
But you're saying you have all this crew that does all this work for you and nobody could remember that you talked about that 2 days prior?
I agree. Somebody should have said something. But I feel like you're so angry about this.
I'm literally not, but it's
Yes,
just so
you
funny.
are.
I'm not. I'm angry when you say something.
You need to admit when you're angry.
I don't get input on like people we hire, like all this stuff like that. I don't get.
People
I don't.
we hire. Why would I ask you about people I hire?
Because it's Frenemies and you take the budget for paying the crew. That's what you told me. You take highlights, you take 5% to pay the crew. I just want everything to be a lot more transparent because I'm like, what are the production costs?
I can't be more transparent.
Can you
with
show me all the costs of production
It's
that you...
not like an itemized thing. We are doing the show.
Trish receives a 45% cut of the show, while Ethan Klein receives an extra 5% that goes towards production costs. Now, first off, if the show is incredibly successful, incredibly successful, and all you're doing is paying your employees a base salary, putting up a fabric backdrop, a basic table and mics, you know, that 5% can get pretty chunky. If your podcast is getting tens of millions of views, incredible success, that 5% can really numerically change quite a bit. Do your employees get a raise because of that 5% production cost? Are you investing a ton into production costs, or are you taking whatever isn't allocated to employees to the set for yourself? While to the public, 5% can feel silly to argue about, like a very small number, especially if Ethan's argument was that 5% was for production and the staff, which makes Trisha appear like she didn't care about H3 employees. I could also see why Trisha may start to feel like she was getting undercut when it came to Frenemies. Literally half the name, image, thumbnails, everything having to do with Frenemies had Trisha's face on it, her image, her brand, and the whole podcast gave the H3 podcast a huge boost in viewership, likely not only to the Frenemies podcast videos, but across the H3 podcast channel, from new viewers who found out about the channel through the Frenemies podcast and became fans and decided to subscribe. I mean, think of the long-term upside, the amount gained beyond just the revenue made on the videos itself. When it comes to viewership across all videos, subscribers, audience members, and a fan base that Trisha never reaped the benefits from, because all of this was not done on Trisha's YouTube channel. Again, this used Trisha's name, her image, even her mental health issues in a podcast for viewership, then cut 45% to her. And I could see why Trisha started to see a huge boost across the H3 podcast channel, and she may have begun to feel like that was a bit unfair. The same day as the big blowout podcast episode, Trisha uploaded a video announcing that she was leaving.
The political shift and Hasan fallout feel intensely divisive, like watching a family tear apart. Ethan's paranoia, everyone's an enemy, mirrors real-life fears I've seen in divided times. It's reflected. Supporting Palestine isn't hatred, yet he frames it as such, alienating allies. As a 50-something viewer, it's sad how online echo chambers amplify this, turning dialogue into war. The obsession? Pure emotional drain. A human reminder that grudges poison the holder most.
Frenemies. In the video, she expressed how she experienced a lot of anxiety while filming the most recent episode of the podcast.
I had this feeling in my heart that I need to step away from Frenemies, and it's really, really with a heavy heart that I say that. And then last night, of course, I talked to Ethan, and he was saying the crew is really upset with me. The money is not the issue. I thought like I would have more of a say.
Ultimately, she wanted to be more involved in the production side of things.
I had a producer in mind that I think would be really, really great for the show. The thing that set me off, I was talking about like gay rights and like hate crimes against gay people and trans people, and I really wanted to talk about it, and he was just talking over me, and he's like, well, you don't do anything. But I put out so many ideas for the show, and I like listed them, like aerial gymnastics, like Dancing with the Stars, like clay pottery and the thing, and I like it just got really frustrating, and I did get frustrated.
In hindsight, after all that's transpired, one must wonder if Trisha was simply asking to have more involvement in the podcast. She didn't want to just show up and have all the work done for her. But Ethan didn't like giving up control, not just to her, but to anyone. So Trisha wanted more involvement and was shut down. She was painted as a selfish person who was betraying the employees and wanted all of the money for herself. Ethan tweeted that because the podcast was ending, the production crew was now getting hate. The crew has done nothing but support them and work their asses off every week, and the treatment they get is unacceptable.
Ethan tweeted, "Okay, I'm starting to get upset about all of this. Our crew is getting hate from Trisha's fans on their personal accounts, and I'm losing my cool. This is the exact problem I knew was gonna happen. He's gonna deflect on his crew that were all fans of Ethan before being hired and their girlfriends/wives. Like, of course they'll always be in his favor. And I'm made to look like same old Trish."
Though afterwards, Ethan deleted all of his initial tweets and tweeted, "At the end of the day, Frenemies was a beautiful experiment that I will always cherish." On June 9th, Ethan uploaded an episode of the H3 podcast where he shared his side of the story. Ethan claimed that Trisha asked for an entirely new crew for production of Frenemies. He claimed that Trisha wanted the existing crew to be fired, which he ended up telling the crew this information.
To be like, we need to get rid of all of them and hire new people. The people who have worked their asses off to put this show, to make this show possible. This is where maybe I fucked up. Okay, is that I was talking to the crew like, listen, Trisha wants to hire a new crew. I was just being transparent with them. I was like, Trisha wants to hire a new crew. Trisha wants to fire you guys and hire new people to do Frenemies. And also, do you want to go meet with her and shoot tomorrow? And so obviously they were like, well, it's a little awkward, right? I made the executive decision as their boss, trying to foster a healthy work environment, that let's just not do the shoot tomorrow.
I don't know. If Trisha was a business partner who wanted more involvement, to create a hostile work environment through telling your employees that your business partner wants all of them fired, which I have a really hard time personally believing is the case, but for Ethan to essentially paint himself as the savior to his employees, to tell them that his business partner wants to fire them all, but he's not going to let that happen. Well, it kind of feels like you're villainizing someone before fully handling the situation privately, involving other people, aka triangulating people in the situation to make that business partner feel like the enemy, and now telling the general public this story as well to further paint that person as the enemy. Ethan also spoke about the financial aspect of the feud, saying Trisha gets all the security of getting that check, of promoting her shiz. He added that he's screwed because of all of the money that he had tied up in the Frenemies merch, which was set to be released that month.
For Trisha to just like walk out. I mean, we have this merch release. Every penny I've made from Frenemies, by the way, if she wants to talk about money, is tied up in this merch. And now I have hundreds of thousands of dollars tied up in merch that I'm probably not going to be able to fucking sell, that my wife works super hard on, her staff works super hard on in 1 month's time. And she drops the "I'm quitting Frenemies" video after me doing everything possible to resolve this with her privately. The nerve of her to complain about 5% when I'm literally not making a penny at this point.
Trisha responded with 3 separate videos. Part 1, Ethan's lies. Part 2, Ethan's lies. And can you guess the third video's title? Part 3, Ethan's Lies, totaling at around 2 hours and 34 minutes altogether. Trisha maintained in both videos and subsequent tweets that she never asked for the crew to be fired.
If you're the boss and I'm the talent and you're the producer, like, and you care about the well-being, right? It is not a reality show where like people are poking for the drama and wanting the drama. If you really don't want the drama and you don't want the hate on your employees, like, why put it out there? I really didn't think I had at that point disrespected anybody. Like, it really triggered me when he said the crew felt disrespected, because I was just like, oh my God, like, what? Like, what did I say?
Trisha said that she only wanted an extra producer who could work exclusively on Frenemies.
I had a producer of mine actually reached out to him. His name's Oscar. For me feeling like comfortable, like it'd be cool to have someone for Frenemies, because obviously the H3 people are busy. I've been asking for this, just to have someone on the show, where the money was going and stuff. I really thought it was like building towards having like people for our show too. So many people are tweeting me like, oh, Trisha wanted to replace the whole, like they have a whole H3 side that's huge on there. Like, why would I be like, replace them? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
To me, this sounds like a reasonable request to have someone who could be an advocate for Trisha on the Frenemies podcast. Ethan did end up selling the Frenemies merch, and it's been alleged that Trisha received a 50% cut. While Ethan ended his video saying that he didn't want to see Trisha canceled and that he regards her as family, she ended her video saying that she always felt like the show's punching bag. She added that she has a lot of anger in her heart towards Ethan, but praised the existing H3 podcast crew and Hila. Many people felt after Frenemies ended that Ethan was in the right in the situation. Trisha was now a full-blown enemy, even though she went from dating to marrying Hila's brother, building a family, becoming in a literal sense a part of Ethan and Hila's family. They don't associate with one another any longer. Since Trisha is seen as an enemy of Ethan's, over the years since the podcast ended, Ethan has frequently mentioned Trisha, sometimes to the support of his audience, but sometimes with his audience noting that he has a tendency to bring up Trisha in a bitter manner.
I'm just going to say it. I'm going to get it out. Trisha lied about being infertile, and that's a disgusting thing to do. She had 3 kids back to back without a single hesitation. Back to back. She got pregnant immediately. Now that's great and good for them, but she continually lied about being infertile, which is a horrible thing to do, because real people go through that every day, and they don't get to have 3 kids back to back exactly planned just like you want.
I'm a little old school, so I'm just gonna say congrats.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
But at least initially, many thought that Ethan was in the right. Though of course, there's always nuance to any situation. The audience couldn't quite see the pattern yet of how often Ethan's friends turned into his enemies, and he would frequently pray for their downfall. While it was easy for Ethan and the general public to deflect blame onto Trisha and call her crazy for the downfall, for the fallout of Frenemies, well, at this point, it's clear that Ethan is the one to blame for the ways that his friendships and business relationships will often completely blow up in his face.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Around the time that Frenemies was ending, Ethan found himself embroiled in his biggest lawsuit. In May 2021, the company Triller sued Ethan and Ethan Klein, alleging the pair had pirated the Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight and showed it on the H3 podcast. Imagining having a major lawsuit and it's over the lamest boxing match featuring Jake Paul and Ben Askren. Ethan spoke about this lawsuit on the podcast and made what you might call several mean-spirited comments directed at Triller co-founder Ryan Kavanaugh.
Actually, yeah, let me take this opportunity. Ryan Kavanaugh! Ryan Kavanaugh! Ryan Kavanaugh!
This prompted Ryan Kavanaugh to file a separate defamation lawsuit, accusing Ethan of spreading false claims through various social media platforms.
No. Actually, I am being sued by an asshole for defamation named Ryan Kavanaugh.
The accusations included promoting various damaging articles.
Variety wrote an article that said Ryan Kavanaugh was accused of his ex-partner of running a Ponzi scheme. So that's what he's suing me for, defamation, because I read the headline of a Variety article. It's insane.
Creating a website comparing Kavanaugh to Harvey Weinstein.
If you Google Ryan Kavanaugh, you'll probably find on the top.
Does Ryan Kavanaugh look like HarveyWeinstein.com? What the fuck?
You know that's my website, right? That's so stupid. We made that website to help the public.
And allegedly paying Wikipedia editors to tarnish Kavanaugh's reputation.
I won this lawsuit against the guy who propagated it and who's paying to have all these, editors kind of do this. I'm sure I'll win in the appeal, and then he'll have to take it all down. We went to a mediation, and he agreed to even do it, which is why I know I already knew he controlled it, but he admitted it.
Of course, as I've briefly experienced, and probably will experience more after posting this video, Ethan Klein's fans are very devoted to tearing down his enemies, as that is Ethan's entire platform that he has built. He creates this idea that he is being victimized or targeted by specific enemies and weaponizes his audience against them. Whether his audience is conscious of this or not, they feel a need to go after Ethan's enemies. I can't even imagine how that has mentally affected Ethan's fan base over a long period of time. Ethan often spoke about the Triller lawsuit as if they were going to easily win.
I've been sued once for copyright infringement before, won it. It's one of the strongest precedents for fair use. The only one really for fair use on YouTube was a big deal. And so I'm very passionate about fair use and copyright infringement and that kind of stuff like that, as someone that, is regularly commenting on stuff. So when Ryan Kavanaugh stepped to me and he sued us for copyright infringement, I said, oh, hell fucking no.
Many fans and viewers expected the lawsuit to go as others have gone in the past, especially when it came to copyright claims. Yet this time, things turned out differently.
I offered him a lot of money to settle it, and he said no. So, said no. He said no to me on my birthday.
The lawsuit dragged on for years until both parties reached a settlement in August of 2024, though the specific terms were not disclosed to the public.
He didn't win. We settled. There's a big difference. You should know that. The lawsuit is finally over.
Wow.
Congrats.
I've agreed to start scrubbing out the Ryan Kavanaugh segments. So say farewell to Ryan Kavanaugh from the H3 show.
Though Ethan claimed on the H3 podcast that they settled for a total of around $3,000, and that after 3 years, that somehow was a massive win for him.
We have settled. Hold on. Whoa, I'm not. So you want to know what we settled for? This is going to make you guys laugh. However many views it had on that video, times 50, which is the PP view price.
Okay.
And it ended up being like $3,000.
That being said, some of the other suits were tossed out by a judge, meaning, well, could have been worse. The only thing that can be assumed is, at the end of the day, all parties lost, since it's written into the agreement that both parties have to pay their own attorney fees. 3 years, multiple lawsuits, constant attorney charges racking up. I can't imagine what those fees would be. Ethan lost a lot more than $3,000 on that federal copyright lawsuit. So undefeated, LOL.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Since the H3 podcast discussed various trending topics, Ethan and his team regularly dipped their toes into politics. Ethan even invited political figures like Andrew Yang onto the podcast to experiment with having more serious guests on.
Today, our guest is Andrew Yang, who is running as the Democratic presidential candidate. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's
like
spot on.
Yeah.
After Frenemies ended, Ethan incorporated more talking points revolving around politics, including in engaging in a debate with conservative political commentator Steven Crowder.
I don't want to make it too easy for you, so I've prepared. Steven, do you know that the Spartans practice man love with children?
Oh, geez. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. Oh, no, Sam Cedar. What a fucking nightmare.
Around this time, Ethan also formed The Leftovers with HasanAbi, one of the most watched political streamers in the world. Although Hasan began streaming in 2018, Hasan saw a surge in popularity during 2020.
Bro, what the f***? How do you steal someone's, like, what?
By 2021, Hasan was one of the most watched streamers on Twitch, averaging tens of thousands of viewers daily. Hasan and Ethan's audiences seemed receptive to one another, enjoying their chemistry while diving into serious topics.
Welcome, everybody!
That's right.
Welcoming to the H3 family and our $3 million set. We spared no expense. Hasan Piker.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
While working with Hasan, Ethan continued debating various controversial figures. But because he just entered the debate space, Ethan seemed to choose easy opponents, like Just Pearly Things, a political commentator and self-described anti-feminist.
I think women are happier when we have, a family and kids over a career in the long run. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
It's okay. Yeah.
And Ollie London, a British man who underwent several cosmetic surgeries to resemble a South Korean boy band member.
No, look, I just don't think kids should be anywhere that is putting ideas into their heads. I still don't think kids should be exposed to gender ideology.
But what about this lunchbox you're selling to kids?
That has nothing to do with any kind of ideology. It's a K-pop picture.
Hasan regularly watched Ethan's debates on livestream, actively supporting his friend at the time, while occasionally texting him talking points.
Ethan got to bust out the left-handed. The number of people who are left-handed.
The amount of left-handed people back in the day was really low.
I sent him back.
Ethan's confidence skyrocketed, but his ignorance sometimes occasionally shined through while debating more complex topics.
In a social democracy that's run ideally, the homeless and whoever else needs a home for whatever reason would be provided one. So I don't understand what socialism does better in that case.
Ethan and Hasan worked closely together, despite having some different stances on major issues. A huge point of conflict, for example, was the conflict between Israel and Palestine. Ethan is an Israeli American. Often in Ethan's early content, he seemed very conflicted about the conflict. Ethan spoke about family and friends residing in Israel.
When you come out and say free Palestine, after they just lost everybody, they have children taken away from them. That's not what you should be saying right now.
And I'm free Palestine too, right? It's just the timing.
Hasan is a Turkish American and a strong voice of support for those often not given a voice in the Middle East.
Hamas is a Muslim Brotherhood fundamentalist cutout. It also happens to be the only popular form of governance amongst Palestinians. Do you want to know why that is the case? They want to support Palestinian people, but they think the only support Palestinian people can get is if they are perfect victims.
While over the past few years, Hasan has been frequently very vocal about Palestine, recently, when a Black person expressed frustration over Hasan's silence over what is taking place in Sudan, Hasan seemed to kind of completely go off in a stream. Hasan's response seemed unreasonably angry, himself directing his anger at Black people in general, it seems. And overall, his response raised a lot of concerns, red flags, and disappointment that it's worth mentioning here.
Can you shut the fuck up when it comes to Black folks? You really don't want to talk about us unless it comes from voting. When is the last time you spoke about Sudan? I'm gonna fucking ether you. Any other Black folk want to engage in radical activist language in this fucking chat? Suck my cock, okay? You stupid fucking radlib. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my chat. Fucking stupid, moronic, fucking radlib nonsense. Suck my fucking dick. Fuck you. You think you have a pass in here to fucking speak like this? Get the fuck out of here. You immediately got root.com article regurgitators in here instantly being like, sweetie, you don't understand Black people. Shut the fuck up.
So, what is happening in Sudan? Sudan is in the midst of a civil war, which has resulted in a humanitarian crisis. There has been a displacement of over 13 million people, ethnic cleansing, famine, and violence. The healthcare system has collapsed. So yeah, I think it's absolutely something worth talking about and spreading awareness of, because this is a devastating issue for millions of people in the world. Information gathered via International Rescue Committee. These controversies that Hasan has encountered may show that in the end, birds of a feather flock together. Or something that I've been reflecting on lately, too much exposure to social media. When you have a large platform and when you interact with too many voices online, a following of quote unquote yes men or yes people may degrade your mental health over time. While the two of them shared a podcast, there was no way of knowing that the situation would escalate across the world into what it is today. Well, at least for those who weren't extensively educated on the conflict, settlements, and the ways in which Israel was systematically encroaching on Palestinian land. Again, I highly recommend the Throughline podcast broadcast that I spoke of earlier in this video. On October 7th, 2023, Hamas and allied Palestinian militant groups launched an attack against Israel. Thousands of rockets were fired from Gaza into Israeli towns and military sites.
These 5,000 projectiles fired by Hamas marked the launch of a terrorist attack. Alarm sirens sounded in Israel. The Iron Dome, Israel's defense system, was put in place. The Nova Music Festival was the scene of the largest massacre, with over 360 festival goers killed and 44 taken hostage.
This is undoubtedly where this video could probably become extensively divided and controversial, as many people have widely different algorithms online, or even know different people who are directly affected by this conflict, which makes everything very personal and causes them to view everything from a personal but deeply divided lens. It's a huge reason why I always felt very hesitant to speak in depth about the situation. For personal reference, my brother passed away on October 3rd of 2023. So when all of this took place, I was in mourning over a very personal situation and wasn't fully there mentally. Anyways, my understanding is that Jewish individuals have dealt with anti-Semitism their whole life. They're aware of the Holocaust and many other instances where groups of people have tried to completely wipe them off the map entirely. They've wanted to defend themselves, come together with some sort of way to protect themselves so that doesn't happen again. Now, when something happens that feels like a situation that threatens their people, well, it's traumatizing for that very reason.
From the river to the sea literally is all of Israel must be ours.
People who don't know what it means all of the Jewish people will probably die.
I think in many ways I can empathize with that history of pain and hurt, though I don't think that it justifies inflicting a similar pain and hurt onto another group of people. Many Jewish individuals have long advocated for a two-state solution.
If your analysis and your solutions doesn't include realistically engaging with that population, then you're not actually looking for solutions, because the alternative is that kill everybody there.
I don't want to discount the fact that Hamas is a terrorist organization in this video either. Ethan initially addressed the situation with Hila during an episode of the H3 podcast. The Kleins shared their concerns for their loved ones back in Israel before expressing frustration with people spamming Free Palestine on social media.
Now, I'm Free Palestine. You can say Free Palestine. But the timing to me made me uncomfortable. It seemed like they were cheering on Hamas.
But why were people saying Free Palestine? While there are many sites online that will tell you that the phrase Free Palestine is a rallying cry for the elimination of Israel, to many using that hashtag on social media, they're intending to speak about the predominant number of Palestinian civilians, children, women, families who are dying due to the conflict taking place, and the ways in which a land has been taken through practices such as settlements and illegal raids. They're intending to advocate and be a voice for people who they feel have been given little power and no voice for themselves. Ethan rubbed people the wrong way on a follow-up episode of the H3 podcast when he called out a Muslim woman named Frogan who had close ties to Hassan and supported Palestine.
This girl Frogan.
Me and Lena are friends with her.
I didn't like the tweet she was making. I thought they were like leaning too much towards pro-Hamas, but like she got to turn it into this whole big thing that turns into a drama that's now being posted all over the internet. That face when one of your favorite content creators unfollows you for being pro-Palestine.
Ethan victimized himself for a woman tweeting when thousands were dying, and the podcast went, ironically, further off the rails. During a follow-up episode on The Leftovers, the camaraderie between Ethan and Hassan took a bitter turn while discussing the subject. The Kleins defended Israel, failing to see how the ways in which Israel was set up could have continually threatened the peace of others in the area. Ethan and Hila mentioned how Israelis felt threatened their whole lives living in Israel, but refused to see how others in neighboring countries may have felt the exact same way from Israel as well.
So many people in Israel just feel like it's an existential threat. It's just this, everybody wants us dead. That's how we grow up. I grew up like that.
And it's not about right and wrong. I have to say that. I have to emphasize that. It's got nothing to do with that.
Ethan somehow framed support for Palestine as death to Israelis and could not fathom a world in which people supported Palestine while simultaneously not wishing harm on Israel.
Palestine will be free. And
okay, so like at worst, the worst interpretation of that would be like someone like Hamas or Hezbollah or like terrorist organizations who are like, yeah, we want to actually kill everybody there. At the best interpretation of it, it basically means, as I've said, this one state dissolution of the state of Israel. The vast majority of people in Israel see that as a side.
After this live stream, the Leftovers podcast and the relationship between Ethan and Hasan quickly deteriorated. Though honestly, to many, it seemed confusing why the Leftovers podcast started in the first place. Ethan wasn't very versed in politics, and often when diving into the specifics of the political discourse and diaspora, his knowledge fell completely flat. That's fine maybe if you're just a podcaster who hasn't made a platform off of discussing these things, but when you create an entire podcast off of it and base your platform off of being left-leaning, your viewers begin to expect you to know what you're talking about and to align with what you're putting out there completely. Knowing what we know about Ethan's past, this podcast doesn't align with everything Ethan once stood for, and he didn't have expertise in it. While Ethan and many on the left often critique those on the right for being political grifters, creating content that they don't fully believe in to simply profit off of what the left essentially believe to be a global audience, well, it seems from all the evidence presented that Ethan was doing the exact same thing. He's made many conflicting and hypocritical comments, whether on his political views, views on women, the world, which may mean Ethan stands for nothing, except for what can stand for Ethan. Rules for thee, but not for me. The problem is he continued speaking on politics, even though more and more his audience hated what he was saying.
Just don't talk about politics. Just go back to talking about like gooning or Justin Baldoni. You're clearly not intellectually equipped enough. Your fan base hates it. You're clearly, all the people in your vicinity hate it, and you're still like, nah, I'm the #1 guy. I'm the #1 politics guy.
Ethan is also the one who doesn't know the difference between a socialist Democrat and a democratic socialist. It's crazy. It's like words have different meanings if they're in a certain succession. Ethan should never be looked at for political commentary. I liked when he made fun of the right, and that's it. Yup, Ethan trying to get political is a big part of his downfall.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
The term Zionist has been thrown around frequently in conjunction with the Israel-Palestine conflict. I think most people who use the phrase Free Palestine are advocating for the right of Palestine and are not against a group of people, but also words are powerful.
They stand by it, like just waiting for any reason to call me, and by the way, call me a Zionist, make it about how I support genocide, about all this horrible shit to call me racist.
Since the word Zionist is likely and has come up alongside Ethan Klein, I thought I would define it here so you at least know the term. Zionism is an ethno-cultural nationalist movement that emerged in the late 19th century Europe, seeking to establish and support a Jewish homeland through the colonization of Palestine.
Ethan, can you say what your definition of Zionism is? Zionism is the belief that Jewish people should have their own homeland. That's all it means.
Zionists wanted to create a Jewish state in Palestine with as much land and as many Jews and as few Palestinian Arabs as possible.
There's like a whole ass country there. And so if your analysis and your solutions doesn't include realistically engaging with that population, then you're not actually looking for solutions, because the alternative is that everybody there.
So you could see how the term Zionist directly relates to the conflict. Yet often the term is related to a lot of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, which is what can make the term harmful. That being said, in 1975, the UN General Assembly passed Resolution 3379, which determined that Zionism is a form of racism and racial discrimination. In 1991, the resolution was replaced with UN General Assembly Resolution 46-86, after Israel declared that it would only participate in the Madrid Conference of 1991 if the resolution was revoked. Many of Ethan's avid followers and fans began to disengage from him after October 7th and the fallout with Hasan, not because of his ties to Israel, but his decreasing capacity to view the other side. The walls were closing in on him, his paranoia, and all of a sudden, if you weren't with him, you were against him.
Listen, if you disagree with me, you're just not looking, or at least not in the places I am. This is what I see happening. People, they want to fight the monster that is the Israeli government so bad. And so many people are, in fighting the monster, becoming the monster. You cannot trade one genocide for another.
It seems like Ethan's stances changed since October 7th. At first, much of Ethan's stances seemed to toe the line.
Challenge any of you to find one fucking clip of me defending the IDF and not supporting the Palestinian people. I mean, yeah, the amount of hate crimes is crazy. Now, there's a lot of Islamophobia too, right? And that's fucking disgusting equally.
Yes, and hate to see Islamophobia rise as well.
He condemned the Israeli government for denying food and water to Gaza and accused Israel of genocide against Palestinians.
I saw videos of Palestinian dads holding his dead, like, 5-year-old daughter. As a father, it's even hard to talk about. This dude was holding his infant. It was like a year old. And he was like patting her on the back and saying like his final goodbye. I mean, he's holding her like she's alive, like he's just burping her or something.
He condemned Israel expansionism and Israel settlers, stating that West Bank settlements are an abomination. He donated to the Palestinian Relief Fund.
You donated to the Palestinian Relief Fund as well.
You know, I got a lot of from Israelis for donating because they're like, oh, it's just going to go to Hamas. You know, I looked into the charity you picked and it is really highly rated.
But Ethan, even then, often seemed confused why the way in which he mentioned Palestinian suffering didn't seem like enough for his audience. Essentially, of course, I can't speak for all people, but it seemed like Ethan would often mention what was happening in Palestine or disagreed with some of Israel's politics, almost like a shield if people were criticizing Ela for her past in the IDF.
Who cares about this? How can you even care about this when there's people in Palestine or in Gaza dying, or in West Bank, whatever, Palestinians being killed? Listen, those are terrible. As I've stated a gajillion times, I've literally never said a single to the opposite. Again, you can care about two things at once, especially, by the way, when they're for the express purpose of trying to destroy Ela's life and reputation for this mere fact that she's Israeli.
Ethan disagrees with some of Israel's actions, like denying food and water to Gaza, but others who are doing the same are anti-Semitic.
It is not anti-Semitism. It is not. It just isn't.
Like, taking one example in isolation, which is what we've done here.
Well, you're the one who gave it to me.
Ethan's own employees noticed this as well, becoming frustrated with how the dialogue would always be phrased, people are dying, but...
Civilians are dying in Gaza.
Yeah, and it's always but. Civilians are dying, but, and then there's a reason for justifying it. And I can't understand that.
You're saying that the civilians need to stop dying. I mean, essentially the war needs to stop.
And yeah, I mean,
that's the only way they stop dying, right?
I don't know what the solution is. I just wish there was another way to get these, to target these terrorists better, where you're not getting all these kids caught in the crossfire.
I think ultimately it became confusing and disorienting for Ethan's audience to keep track of what exactly Ethan believed, and it became disorienting and confusing for Ethan himself, so he kind of gave up.
Look in the mirror, loser. You're the problem. You are the problem. Why are people mad at me? I want someone please to explain it. Explain why you're mad at me. It's really annoying that like people they stand by it, like just waiting for any reason to call me, and by the way, call me a Zionist, make it about how I support genocide, about all this horrible fucking shit, to call me racist.
In 2025, Ethan's tone completely shifted, and others have noticed, like in this quote in an article in Medium, which says, typically, when Ethan speaks positively of Palestinians in 2025, it's as if he's doing so begrudgingly. When someone mentions Palestinian suffering, Ethan frequently offers a response like, yeah, it's tragic what's happening to them, man. Anyway, we have criticized the guests Ethan has brought on to speak about the Israel-Palestine conflict, as they felt a bias on that front as well. And at times people have also felt when the H3 employees try to speak about the issue, they are misunderstood or silenced, particularly AB, who is Muslim.
I've never heard of another movement who can't have a slogan. So my whole life, I'm Lebanese, I'm Muslim. I've always heard river to the sea. I've never understood it as a phrase that meant eliminate Israel. Now we're not...
By the way, this is a good conversation.
Yeah. So we're not able to have a slogan. Now we're not able to identify the enemy because now I'm being told that Zionist is being associated with Jewish. We can't have a slogan. We can't identify the enemy, and now we can't give aid. That's another thing too. You can't give aid because there's this fear that Hamas is going to take the aid. And either way, both sides don't agree on anything. Everyone has their own talking points, but we can all agree, at least for the most part, on the numbers. And that's what worries me, is because this is happening. I don't know what the proportional response is. I condemn Hamas, but whatever it is, it's not this.
Ethan has continued.
Ethan's outbursts toward employees and mental lapses break my heart. It's like watching a spiral unfold in slow motion. The resurfaced Reddit posts, shocking injustice to victims, eroding any remaining trust. For someone 30 plus who's navigated online toxicity, it's a caution. Unchecked power breeds monsters. His threats to dox critics scream desperation, not strength. It's deeply sad, highlighting how fame isolates and turns advocates into villains.
Continually disagreed with creators for Palestine as well, and those involved have disagreed with Ethan, creating a creator-on-creator battle over something that's supposed to be a helpful cause, or at least trying to do something.
Ethan Klein went on his podcast yesterday and said this about Creators for Palestine.
Creators for Palestine raised $1.6 million. That's fantastic. Literally negligible. They've received billions of dollars. Like, raise money. That's good. That's the easiest thing you can do, is just give money, right? Good. Let's talk about real activism. Let's talk about enacting meaningful change.
It's not real activism. It didn't make a single difference in Gaza. He's lost his mind. It's crazy how much I used to look up to H3. They were the fathers of fair use, and now he's just sitting here crashing out for days on end.
So Ethan's constant self-pity, claiming he's being attacked online, while having little pity for those who are being literally wiped off the earth, well, started to look ridiculous. The stark contrast of the two things happening at the same time was hard for a lot of H3 fans to see and justify, and this was when a lot of fans started to disengage from Ethan Klein. Unfortunately, unable to see the reasons for why, this only fueled Ethan's victim complex and fears of anti-Semitism, not realizing that it was the lack of empathy and compassion while expecting others to hold an endless well of empathy and compassion for himself that became draining for many. Alongside Ethan's inability to listen to his audience, or really just form a strong opinion and stance that he was able to stand by, he began making further insensitive comments and reactions, like when he made fun of a man who was burning alive.
Again, not to put this uncouth, but he's a champ at fucking burning alive. I mean, that sounds bad, but he did it really good. Does that sound bad? And what I said was, he's really good at burning alive. And I mean that as the most sincere compliment possible. If you're coming at me with those kinds of takes, you are ensuring peace will never happen.
The mask began slipping, it seems. The old Ethan, who his audience forgot existed in the first place, was making a return.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
On January 30th, 2023, a clip exposing popular Twitch streamer Atrioc quickly spread across the internet. In the clip, Atrioc inadvertently showed a browser window, which was open to a website that hosts non-consensual AI-generated images. The window showed that Atrioc was viewing images on the account of someone who specialized in making deepfakes of popular female streamers. Viewers of the stream noticed the leak and screenshotted the site, then shared the site, images from it, and names of the women who were deepfaked. Deepfaking websites make it easy for anyone to create highly realistic but fake content. This has a range of implications, from spreading misinformation to damaging someone's reputation with fabricated content. A few hours after the clip went viral, Atrioc appeared on stream with his partner Ariana to address the situation.
Everyone here probably knows what's going on. I want to say, first of all, that it's true. It's 100% true. I looked at a deep fake video of streamers.
Cutie Cinderella was one of the women who was deepfaked, and she responded to the situation on Twitter or X, writing, "I want to scream. Stop. Everybody effing stop. Stop. Stop spreading it. Stop advertising it. Stop. Being seen against your will should not be a part of this job." Hours after Atrioc's apology, Cutie Cinderella went live on her Twitch channel. She addressed the situation, opening up about the negative emotional impact the site was taking on her mental health, before vowing to sue the founder of the deepfake website. Ethan reacted to Cutie's statement about the website during an episode of the H3 podcast. During the stream, Ethan told Zach, one of his crew members, to play a slowed down version of Nat King Cole's Christmas song. When this song played, it caused Ethan to burst into laughter during Cutie's emotional stream.
Why? Why?
What is going on with you?
I know, sorry, don't mind me.
If you are able to look at women who are not selling themselves or benefiting off of
What is
being
going
seen
on?
sexually,
You're a monster, dude.
You guys are crazy.
Why did you do that? Evil. I'm just speechless, dude.
Ethan was met with immediate criticism from his own crew, including Sam, who was visibly upset. After a moment passed, he apologized for laughing and claimed that he supported QT amid the ongoing situation. Still, the clip went viral on social media, prompting Ethan to issue a full apology to QT Cinderella.
It was weird. Like, I don't know why. Like, obviously, there's something a little bit off about me, right? Because I always find myself in these situations where I am doing and saying impulsive things that I regret.
Ethan wrapped up his apology by offering to get QT in contact with his own legal counsel.
If she needs resources, I would love to donate. Even if she's open to that, to fund this kind of thing. I strongly believe that this whole deepfake thing is like super insane.
Recently, QT has come under fire for controversial statements made in a stream where she essentially, paraphrasing here, said that it's okay to be friends with people who have very blatantly bad views and bad takes. Her general phrase throughout the stream being, "You can't fight hate with hate," which is generally not always a bad take. But not everyone is in the position to do so or to be around hateful people.
you guys can believe what you want to believe. I understand, but you're not allowed to coach me. And what's most important to get people to love other people is to love them. Fighting hate with hate will never get anything anywhere. It's like telling someone they suck because they're racist, and these are on so different terms. Like, you know, racist people telling someone they suck because of skin color is obviously worse. But like, all we're doing is telling people they suck. Why are we like, come on, gotta figure this out.
QT making this statement was because she was under fire for streaming with someone who is transphobic. QT claims that she's friends with this streamer because she's helping them.
I simply believe that I can coach people into love, and I know that's fucking insane of me to say.
To me, I fail to see this logic, or at least I see the other side, that possibly this streamer could be helping QT's career, numerically, numbers-wise, engagement-wise. QT also offers anecdotes of her stepbrother who's trans and does not talk to her father because her father refuses to use the correct pronouns. But yet, QT still talks to her father. They hang out together and have a relationship.
My stepbrother is trans, and my dad refuses to use the correct pronouns. He doesn't understand why it's so important, right? And it drives me crazy. And it drives my stepbrother crazy, of course. You know what the difference is I'm able to have this conversation with my dad because I'm open-minded and we love each other. My stepbrother just says fuck off and won't talk to my dad. So there's no progress being made. I don't support it, but I still love my dad and I'll go to coffee with him tomorrow, but I don't support that.
I had a sibling who passed away, so maybe that makes this a little bit too emotional for me. But if my sibling was trans and stopped speaking to a member of my family because that member was being transphobic, I in turn would stop speaking to that family member as well. It's hard for me to see another perspective on that, personally speaking. Not that I'm always the perfect family member. I'm terrible at responding to text messages and calls. QT's controversy doesn't have much to do with Ethan Klein because, of course, Ethan Klein wasn't involved, but she said something very controversial, which Ethan Klein has also been known to do. This raises the question, does being online too much, having a group of yes men who are following you, or yes people, start to erode your reality testing? Maybe large social media followings can, at times, overall, be bad for someone's mental health. After the incident with QT Cinderella, the crew purchased a button which allows Ethan or the producer Dan to have the podcast live stream on a 30-second delay, so they can erase the last 30 seconds of footage from the live stream before it airs. The main goal of having this button is to prevent future YouTube content strikes or predominantly any further backlash. But the question is, if your content is getting to the point where you need to purchase a button to delete the controversial things you say, should you maybe admit you have a problem, pause, Take a breather? A mental health break? No? Oh, okay. Instead, Ethan kept going, and his content spiraled further and further off the rails.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up.
The button is a Ross Air Cleaner 2 brand kill switch that keeps the podcast live stream on a 30-second delay, allowing for the crew to erase the last 30 seconds of footage in real time.
So here's the button. You've got a video and you've got an audio. We're hitting both. Yes, please.
The button cost $20,000 and was purchased in March of 2023. It can be used by Ethan and producer Dan, as mentioned. Every time the button is hit, various submitted fan art and animations are played for 30 seconds. The button has been used numerous times, and Ethan's claimed it's improved his ability to discern things that he should be careful saying. If you're curious what it looks like when the button is used, here's an example during a Teddy Fresh ad when Ethan mentions the collaborator's background to the chagrin of Ela.
We got to work with Chloe Cherry, which I was very excited about.
From Euphoria. I mean,
So-
she also does. That's her main thing.
I don't know if she does that anymore. It's been really great to work with, and she was very hands-on with the collection.
There's a button fail as well, when Ethan was caught yelling at an employee, potentially verbally degrading them, which is one of the first times fans saw Ethan treating an employee that way and was shocking to see.
You're doing it.
What are you doing?
So awkward and terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Just like, this is what I'm talking about when it's always like.
We need to get home for our kids.
It's like, bro.
Oh no, I didn't want to finish it right now. I'm about finishing Wednesday.
On Friday, maybe. Is it?
You guys, like...
All right, I'm taking my hand up. Okay, well.
Heard all that.
Thanks, button.
All right.
Well, I'll just explain myself then. Like, it's like, you know, first of all, I appreciate the hard work.
I know you
you've
do,
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it. But it's like every time we do it, it's like the show is what it is, and
I know.
it makes it.
I was being selfish.
No, fuck it, dude. That button fucked me, dude. Can you imagine that button fucking me over like that? Like, dude, I mean, it could have been worse.
iDubbbz has a decent explanation as to why the button, while Ethan has claimed has helped his content, could actually lead to more problematic content over time. Because you're actively going into a live stream with the mentality that if anything goes wrong, you'll be able to Control-Alt-Delete. So you're not actively thinking about the quality of your content or what you're saying. Over time, your content becomes an emotional dumping ground.
I think if all of us had buttons, we'd hit the button all the time. But if you don't have it, you operate differently. You think about what you're saying. You maybe plan for your show a little bit more. You maybe say, I'm not going to have my podcast be an emotional dumping ground for today.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
When Ethan had his fallout with Trisha Paytas, for the most part initially, the internet was on his side. But when Ethan had his fallout with Hasan Piker, things were different. Hasan retained his fan base and even some of Ethan's fans, because they shared much of their audience. So when the podcast split, some audience members likely left one viewership for another. Many people disagreed either with Ethan's stances or how he handled leaving the podcast. Ethan hadn't dealt with so much of his audience base disagreeing with him before. Instead of taking in the feedback, as harsh as it may have been at the time, and as hard as that can be when a large amount of people are telling you that you're wrong, well, his ego, mind, body decided to fully reject that feedback. He's not wrong. Instead, Hasan must be in the wrong, and he was going to do anything in his power to prove it. Like when Ethan played the Twitch or Terrorist, featuring Hasan next to an image of Bin Laden.
I don't know who made this, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the Hasan and Osama on the front page. They need
at least if they're gonna compare them, I mean, I'll guess.
This site that Ethan was on was allegedly created by Destiny. So by Ethan's logic of playing this game, Muslim Twitch streamers are comparable to terrorists. Also, the fact that Hasan, Frogan, and Denims are being conflated with the likes of anti-Semites, Sneeko, and Myron is extremely bad faith. Ethan's Islamophobic is becoming more and more blatant, and he doesn't even realize it. Now, of course, I know Hasan Piker is an incredibly controversial figure. This video isn't to claim otherwise, because this video isn't about Hasan Piker. Instead, I want to document how unhealthy Ethan's obsession with Hasan was becoming, and how it could have potentially been destroying his mental health. I personally have learned over time, through the course of my life, if someone is truly a bad person, they are going to get in their own way. You don't need to obsess over them or ruin their life for them. They're going to do it in their own time. And by you obsessing over them, watching them constantly, the only person whose life you're going to destroy is your own. All of a sudden, Ethan was posting about Hasan Piker every day, which Hasan Piker was informed while streaming.
I didn't know he was posting about me this much. Oh my God. Every day? Every single day? No.
And the content made regarding Hasan became more and more petty and random.
Oh, he changed his background.
I hate
Baby
it.
would love that. Lights. Although,
Hey, Hasan, I
looks
hate
like a
your
pet
new
store,
background.
frankly. Doesn't it?
It looks ugly as fuck.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you.
After some time passed and things had only gotten worse and worse, Hasan and Ethan finally both agreed to debate. They went from having a podcast together to being on totally opposite sides. During this debate, Hasan and Ethan continued to fight over stances surrounding the Israel-Palestine conflict.
Do you believe that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza?
Yes.
Great. No, that's important. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I also agree on this. Do you feel like you have used your limited amount of time that you have as a content creator speaking out against Israel doing a genocide on the Palestinian population living in the Gaza Strip? Or do you feel like most of your commentary on that issue has overwhelmingly been to rail against people that are doing that?
Do you think my coverage has been like totally balanced? I would say no. I've obviously given less time to the Palestinian perspective.
Another aspect of this debate was Hasan bringing up Ethan's obsession towards him, posting about him numerous times a day.
Not including clips, since January 31st, you have mentioned me 110 times.
What? Based on what? I don't believe that.
Ethan felt Hasan fed into his own harassment online through often reading from a snark page on his own platform.
Okay, Hasan, can I ask you a question? Why the f were you browsing H3 Snark the other day and pulling clips from that?
I don't know. Someone sent me a clip in the chat. I'm going to mute you and just keep talking.
Okay, that's great. I think that means you won the debate.
Someone who comes into play around this time in Ethan's online career is the controversial streamer Destiny, a liberal streamer who advocates for social democratic policies and aligns more with Ethan's beliefs, yet has been essentially fully deplatformed online on various social media platforms due to some of his very controversial moments online, such as using the F slur while streaming and being accused of using other slurs in private. He was banned from Twitch in 2022 for hateful conduct, which could have been either frequently streaming with horrid Nick Fuentes or saying trans women shouldn't compete with cis women in sports. And Destiny and Ethan had seemingly formed a friendship in recent years, notably bonding over their mutual hatred towards Hasan Piker.
The fact that you have been corresponding with Dan Saltman, and you did, and he is Destiny's podcast co-host.
You know what? I think you're hallucinating, buddy.
There's even a Reddit post that shows proof that Ethan was being fed clips from Hasan's stream directly from Destiny's Discord server.
Like, I agree with you and everything, but it's also important not to like put random crazies, like, not to give
These
them
are
the
not
time.
random, dude.
No, the
these are
Reddit
not
posts
random
are
crazies.
random people.
So this one's recent. Let's see what this one is.
And all the efforts.
Yet, the debate didn't quell Ethan's obsession with Hasan, which continued on. Even on normal podcasts, when his crew was chatting about things that brought them joy when Ethan was in the bathroom, he came back and immediately launched into a tirade about Hasan.
That's what it's called, right? The one after Grandmaster? Celestial, yeah.
I'm busy taking care of my pregnant wife.
Oh, boo-hoo. I hear that. I hear that at least once a day from you.
I'm shooting ropes, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's your own doing, brother.
All right, where were we? I wanted to say this. Hasan is the human embodiment of the Che Guevara shirt sold at Hot Topic. He is that. Personified.
Were you thinking about that in the bathroom?
Yeah. You cooked on that one.
He starts to watch old Leftovers podcasts and makes fun of Hasan, agreeing with him in an episode and saying,
So I started
That's what he
my
sounded
career
like.
10+ years ago.
That's what you sound like, Hasan.
It's getting a little, it's a little petty.
No, listen how stupid he sounds.
I didn't think you sounded like that.
Hold on, let me go back
said,
more.
As an example, because we're all familiar with it.
Ethan even went as far as to claim Hasan was essentially a date rapist, which is a very serious claim that should be taken extremely seriously, not thrown around on the internet all silly like.
He looks like he's at a Jackie Treehorn party. You know, fucking drunk women. Which surprisingly doesn't seem too far off from what he actually does do. Or has done, at least.
Recently, Hasan Piker was embroiled in one of the largest controversies to date in his career, surrounding his dog Kaya and what many deemed to be Hasan's unfair treatment of her on his stream, due to the perceived use of a shock collar.
This is a moment of fucking anger for like something that is just so routine, so silly. It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby.
Because of Ethan and his followers' crusade essentially against Hasan, the H3 subreddit was one of the first to post about the situation, and continually post about the situation multiple times through the course of a singular day. In fact, I kind of feel like I was one of the first to find out about the shock collar situation because I was researching for this video as the news broke and happened to be scrolling on the H3 podcast subreddit the moment that the shock collar news was posted. Ethan also immediately took to social media to state his moral stance. His fans, who had seen Hasan as essentially an online villain and an enemy against Ethan ever since the Leftovers divide, had felt almost vindicated after this news had surfaced as well.
Many of you guys know that I'm a dog lover, and there are a few things that horrify me more than people that abuse their animals. These are precious creatures that need us and depend on us, and abusing that trust is such a horrible crime. I always found it bizarre how Kaya, who's this young, energetic puppy, stayed in 1 square foot of Hasan's room, right in sight of camera, almost like just a prop in his room. Well, now we know why. He's using extreme austerity measures to shock and abuse his animal.
Hasan Piker himself claims that the clip, though it really looks like the dog was shocked and that Hasan was messing with something off camera, was not as it appeared, and that Kaya the dog simply got her foot caught on the bed and yelped.
The clip looks horrible, and they're like, oh, he was like hitting a button on his desk. I do not have a shock collar for Kaya, as I said yesterday, but it doesn't matter. This is one of Kaya's many collars. This is the one that people are talking about. It has the capacity to vibrate, and that's it.
And also, shock collars aren't always that bad.
They moved away from the initial conversation, which was that like she didn't even have that collar on to begin with. E-collars that have shocking components that feel like a TENS machine, which I've used on myself in the past because, you know, I'm around dogs that have been trained with that and use it, is not only is it not illegal, but it's also straight up used in the e-fencing for people, and it's used in the training of like dogs in general.
This doesn't necessarily quell all concerns, like concerns regarding Kaya sitting in one spot for long periods of time.
Kaya, please just go.
I love her. I think her collar's too tight.
Of course, we aren't all privy to Kaya's diet and exercise routine or her specific health needs, but this is a bit besides the point of what I'm wanting to say here. My own point is, Ethan and his fans focus on their enemies and their deep want to prove their enemies wrong. And the question is that mentally healthy? Or is it causing Ethan to be mentally unwell, to have such a deep focus on the downfall of his enemies?
It's an assertion of control, right? That makes them feel strong, that makes them feel like an authority. And that's why he's doing it, in my opinion. My humble, I do have a PhD in psychology.
Is that ultimately the very thing that caused Ethan's own downfall? This obsession Ethan has surrounding his enemies could be described as rumination and holding a grudge. According to research, excessive rumination can negatively impact health, both mental and physical. Signs a person is a grudge or resentment collector can be spitefulness. You wish suffering on the person you begrudge. Resentfulness. You believe you will benefit by exacting revenge. Revenge seeking, rumination, obsession, and revenge fantasies dominate your thoughts. Arrogance. You truly believe others are plotting against you, which prompts you to destructive action, such as destroying property or thoughtlessly causing causing physical, psychological, or emotional harm to others. Pessimism. You harbor resentment against many people, which warps your personality, causing you to become a promoter of cynicism. In many of Ethan's streams, he began to say things like he was struggling to make friends, that he was encountering people who were pathological liars or shysters, seemingly representing a larger pattern of paranoia Ethan was exhibiting. Everyone is against him, everyone is wrong, and he's the only one who's right. And yet, that isn't how you build an audience of supporters, but how you slowly drain them, and how you blow up your entire platform, or nuke it.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Due to Ethan's obsession with Hasan Piker, he posted a video titled Content Nuke Hasan Piker, seemingly to bait Hasan into reacting to the content so that he could sue Hasan for copyright infringement. But Hasan did not fully react to the content.
Hasan, are you going to be watching Ethan's content nuke? The answer is, of course not.
Instead, 3 other content creators, Frogan, Casey Tron, and Denims, created content surrounding the content nuke.
Hi there. My name is Ethan Klein, and my favorite hobby is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers. There were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. Denim sits here silently with nearly 50,000 live viewers. She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views.
Because of this, Ethan uploaded a video claiming to be the mastermind all along, who's now planning to sue these content creators for copyright infringement.
And it was in this setting that I formulated an idea. What if I could make a long-form, irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist, they couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published. There's one thing about copyright you should know is that you gotta register it before you publish to be eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees, which is the main biting force of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now, I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hasan Piker Content Nuke with the United States Library of Congress. Some of you guys out there sweating?
This is a blatant 180 from the Ethan of the past, who fought for creator rights and for fair use. Additionally, the content nuke attempts to get further revenge on Frogan, the Muslim woman who called out Ethan for unfollowing her for being Free Palestine, and does so by using doctored information gathered from the Destiny subreddit.
This is a totally fake image. She was not nominated this year. And when I did a bit of research, I did a reverse image search, I find out this fake image came from Destiny's subreddit a few months ago. Okay, it was like a very niche post.
Well, I think I'm done. After the content nuke, it's been made quite clear who Ethan is and always was. He grifted the left until his own bigotry, ignorance, and ego took over. This man is a full-blown right-wing influencer. Something did switch. Ethan went from being an advocate for fair use to suing other creators over copyright infringement and creating essentially a content trap so he'd be able to do so. Everything changed, and one of Ethan's longest friends on the platform came out against Ethan as well.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Throughout a large portion of Ethan's career, one of his closest friends was the content creator iDubbbz. Yet recently, due to their differences in opinions, iDubbbz released a content expose on Ethan under his infamous format titled Content Cop.
Your old friend iDubbbz just released a video.
Yeah.
It's about you.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Oh my God. That is the... No, it can't be.
Well.
It actually can't be. Holy dude.
It sure is.
Oh my God. Holy
From a quick scrub through it, I think, well, it's gonna be a little spicy.
Oh my God. Like what? Like what? Why? What did I do to like what kind of like bro? What kind of cowardly bullshit is this? Like we have one disagreement where I get upset because you guys aren't defending me publicly after everything I've done to support you guys, and like you bring on people who are denims
And Frogan, who did a f***ing anti-Semitic tier list, and you're platforming them?
I didn't plan on making a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. H3 content cop.
The thing is, iDubbbz has also lost a big portion of his original fan base, in a similar style to Ethan, the two being mirrors of each other. iDubbbz was known for being an edgy content creator who garnered a certain fan base because of that. To come out with a content cop that went against much of those original content styles and platformed many creators that his original fan base disagreed with meant his video received a ton of dislikes.
Consider the
Oh my god, brother. Brother, 93,000 dislikes? Chat, that's tough. What?
Content creators like Keemstar, Destiny, and XQC all took to their respective platforms to defend Ethan Klein after the content cop, which is very different from their interactions of the past when it comes to Ethan Klein.
Ethan Klein and more than Ethan Klein, the H3H3 podcast, that entire show has been supporting and platforming and getting behind Creator Clash, iDubbbz and Anissa for years, and everybody fucking knows it. So I actually see where Ethan's coming from.
It's just sad that Ethan is now under attack by like the entire world of online politics slop because he, I guess, doesn't repeat the pro-Pally talking points verbatim. So now he's going to be, I guess, a pro-genocidal insane person.
Oh, hell no! Brother, oh nah, oh nah, oh nah, oh nah, oh nah. Bro, content cop, and he picks the people that are the most content copable of all time.
Ethan also defended himself.
He convinced his audience that the reason that I'm mad, that I'm lashing out, simply because I'm a raving lunatic. I am crashing out. I'm just crazy and harassing his friends for no reason. And by the way, to my good friend Ian of 8 years, I really appreciate you weaponizing my mental health against me.
To make Ethan crash out. He's having a parasocial weird crash out. People can have crash out moments. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help.
Someone who I've confided in over the years with my struggles with it, who understands what I've been through, for him to throw that in my face, to characterize anything I'm doing as crashing out, that I need help, that I need to get some kind of treatment, is cruel and pathetic on a level I didn't think he would ever be possible of doing.
To be fair, I definitely think iDubbbz's approach, claiming to be a concerned friend who recently learned the concept of empathy while dancing around in a goofy way and sort of teasing Ethan Klein, it definitely sends mixed messaging. Like I said earlier, in some ways, Ethan and Ian are kind of mirrors of one another.
I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability empathy, and I'm very ashamed to admit that. It sounds really pathetic to say at the age of 32 I've acquired empathy, but I have, and I've realized it.
Ethan was clearly hurt by Ian, iDubbbz, making this video. He continued to make content about Ian, iDubbbz, and his wife Anissa, like in one uncomfortable clip where he thinks it's worth flexing on them.
Ian and Anissa, they love watching my pocket. And it's like, you're mad that you live in your mom's basement. And when you see this watch, like this, it upsets you. You know why? And it doesn't make me better. It in no way makes me better. It doesn't, right? And I don't think it's cool or makes me better. The only reason I'm showing you this, Anissa, is because I know it upsets you. It reminds you of the abject failure that you guys are. That the amount of potential that you had, you were successful, you had money, and you lost it.
Ethan has also made a lot of comments about Ian's wife, Anissa, who, it at least appears publicly, doesn't seem to be doing anything particular to provoke Ethan to be making such regular commentary on her, besides just strongly disagreeing with him. But it's clear that what Ethan disliked most of all about Ian's content cop was him associating with content creators who Ethan saw as the main reason for a hate campaign against him, who he thought were out to get him, and even behind CPS being called on his family and children, which we will get to.
A few weeks ago, Child Protective Services showed up to our house at 6 a.m. to interrogate us about an anonymous tip they got that our kids were crawling around and eating dog at catching diseases. Ian spends the majority of his video characterizing me like a raving lunatic who's lashing out at everyone around me with zero provocation. Now, why am I mad at Ian for this? Well, let's start here. Denims is someone he's accusing me of in his video of harassing. Let's see what Denim said about my children
3 days before CPS was called.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit.
The thing is, throughout Ethan's career, there have always been an enemy out to get him, and an audience of yes people to validate his beliefs. But what happens when Ethan's enemies are small and powerless in comparison to him? Wouldn't that essentially make him the villain?
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
Elizabeth Borda was employed as a housekeeper for Ela and Ethan Klein, working in their private residences under the umbrella of Teddy Fresh Incorporated. Her duties included maintaining the household and assisting with daily upkeep. When this housekeeper was fired, she fired back in a lawsuit with claims of her own. The plaintiff alleged that the Kleins violated the California Family Rights Act and engaged in disability discrimination in violation of FEHA, or Fair Employment and Housing Act, and failed to take reasonable steps to prevent discrimination, among other things. Elizabeth Borda claimed that the Kleins denied her time off after she received a hernia surgery. Ethan has denied these allegations publicly and brought the private matter to his public platform, putting a private person under fire to his tons of fans.
Failing to engage in an interactive process. Wah! That's what I hear. Wah! They didn't talk to me. They didn't explain things to me. Retaliation and violation of California. So we retaliated for her asking time off. Wrongful termination. Damn, they really piled them on. Failure to pay meals and rest period. Okay. If you're a snarker, there's all kinds of shit to sink your teeth into here, so enjoy.
Ethan claimed that the housekeeper was rude to his children's nanny, which is why they fired her. Our former housekeeper was fired for being horrifically rude to our boy's nanny, constantly calling her fat and asking when she gained all the weight. I gave her so many warnings, hoping she would just stop, but she didn't. She was part of our family, and we treated her like it. I tried everything to salvage the relationship, but her conduct was inexcusable. Ethan defends his nanny in this post, but in the past he's made fun of their nanny for wanting to go back home during a California wildfire to check on her family.
But I don't know why. Then there was like fires in LA when we got home. We had like a babysitter who was with Theodore, and she had to leave abruptly because she thought her family was burning alive. Excuse me, Mr. Klein. What? Oh, my family.
What is this?
In the fire zone, and nobody answer. And my whole family, I die, and I drive home, okay? She's rocking back and forth. And I was like, fuck.
You really are delirious.
So then I'm stuck with the baby.
This lawsuit seems to be still ongoing. After the housekeeper was fired, Ethan made a discriminatory comment on the podcast about hiring someone with chronic illness and how terrible that is.
Dude, imagine if you hired this guy. Because he was applying.
You'd never be able to get rid of him. He is an HR nightmare.
When you realize that, like, not only are they not helpful, but they're like detrimental to everybody and the environment and everything around them. When you try to fire them, they will 1000% file a discrimination lawsuit. I'm sure they will, right?
Ethan continued to spiral further downwards. People couldn't help but notice his appearance slowly changing too, maybe somewhat mirroring his inner mental state.
Wow, Ethan, great moves. Keep it up. Proud of you.
To many fans, Ethan and H3 began to represent the very thing they used to be against, the enemies he used to stand against. Ethan, this time next year. Some of Ethan's behavior began to seem more and more erratic, his statements harsher, bizarre, and more extreme.
People that weren't ever on our side are agreeing with us now. They're that wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's been nice. They've been reuniting so many YouTubers, I feel like.
It's been a party. Yeah, I mean, it's been great for our channel.
It's been a party.
I will go through in detail of this dude's life. There has to be a way to hold Reddit accountable. I haven't said this before. It's so infuriating. We got a hold of someone at Reddit, and we told them about all the snark stuff. It was a comms person, and they got back to us, and they said, well, you guys are harassing people also.
As per an article on Medium, increasingly, you, Ethan, have become so absorbed in internet and micro-celebrity feuds that you often don't appear to be able to see the forest for the trees anymore. The top comments on his videos weren't necessarily more and more negative, just more and more concerned. Someone on the crew needs to have an intervention with Ethan. He is stuck in a self-confirming feedback loop. There was a mega thread on the H3 Snark subreddit, which was titled Concerns for Ethan Klein's Mental State. I've been doing these deep dives for a while, covering many people who have Reddit Snark pages, and I've never seen an extensive mega thread which people wrote up because they're so genuinely concerned for someone's mental health. The main reasons for concerns stated were, according to this post, escalating and volatile on-air behavior, frequent outbursts such as Ethan lashing out at paying chat members.
Tell me why. I'd love to know why.
What I saw.
Because you made fun of him burning. Okay, dummy. I joke about all this every day. Why are you expressing such dumb thoughts in my chat? Go somewhere else. Like, seriously, if you're that sensitive, so give me a break. Who's the problem? Scumbag. Scumbag.
Ethan yelling at his employees on stream.
His taking a mental health break from the show.
You're assuming his pronouns. He hasn't clarified.
No, when you use neutral, sorry.
Calm down.
You use
No, it's annoying
pronouns,
because people go.
Obviously, we all love her. You stupid woke. I'm being respectful.
No, it doesn't need to be more than it is.
Why are you assuming his pronouns?
Extreme aggression towards his critics.
Good. He should be stressed because he's a fucking liar. He should erase that video and apologize.
Definitely.
So he doesn't get sued.
Explosive and manipulative back and forths with former friends. Forgetting recent statements. Even forgetting how many kids he has.
Ethan said a job? No way, dude! 2 kids and a wife to worry about.
We feel this suggests a concerning pattern of emotional instability marked with lapses in memory, impaired judgment, and a complete lack of accountability for abusive behavior that keeps escalating. Ethan streamed an episode stating a child welfare visit was called in from people who worked at his house. So let's talk about CPS being called on Ethan Klein, as stated in this mega thread. In March of 2025, Child Protective Services visited the Klein's home, and Ethan Klein claimed he received skulls in the mail, human skulls.
So they sent us these skulls that are expensive and no one paid for them. And then we're like, well, I'm keeping them because I want them for evidence in case I ever need to talk about this.
Yeah.
And then they start calling us after a month, like begging us to return the skull.
We found them, at first we were just kind of like, are these people serious? And also we weren't sure if the FBI was going to like ask for it for evidence or whatever.
The situation began in early March when CPS arrived after an anonymous tip claimed his child was crawling around and eating dog food. Ethan Klein claimed that this claim has come from streamers who had spread the rumor that Ethan Klein's children had contracted Giardia. Then, around that time, the family received 2 unidentified human skulls, allegedly by mail, which prompted an FBI investigation. And of course, probably does not help with Ethan Klein's paranoia that people are out to get him, that he has enemies all around. We had a very pleasant interview with the FBI, Ethan Klein stated, adding that the situation had escalated beyond the usual bounds of online trolling and harassment.
There's something that I've never talked about publicly, but around the same time, we received 2 human skulls in the mail at our home, which led us to having a very pleasant interview with the FBI. Things have progressed well past the point of that's just what the internet does.
Of course, I want to empathize with Ethan Klein here. That is probably a very scary situation to be in, especially when you have children, a family, and probably hasn't helped at all with Ethan Klein's mental state and the concerns surrounding that. Meanwhile, rumors of self-medication have continued, likely stemming from when Ethan was asking his employees on stream for their Adderall prescription.
Did you bring Adderall?
No, but I did see people on the subreddit being like, Olivia's contributing to the shortage because she said that she doesn't use it. I don't know how long Adderall lasts. I still have the bottle that I took to school. I haven't called in a new prescription.
Girl, you prescribed it.
Probably
you have a right to get that medicine, okay?
I do, but I promise I'm not contributing to the shortage. I would never.
So I guess I should try some Viban. Let's vibe out, brother.
Hell yeah.
Or you could give me some of your, I could take some of your prescription.
Yeah, I got you.
It's a vibe right now.
Probably talk to the doctor that just puts you on like 8 different medications. Or see if you want to mix that.
That's true. I don't.
Just a suggestion. I don't know. Do what you want, man. You're a grown man.
Ethan hasn't publicly confirmed or denied this, but his public request for controlled medication on the show invited lots of speculation. Ethan also, to lots of criticism, featured his children on the H3 podcast. Ethan and Hila streamed an episode with their children from the studio, which went back on their highly publicized promise to never make their kids into YouTube content. In 2023, Business Insider wrote an article about Ethan and Hila titled "Why YouTube's Best Known Couple is Keeping Their Kids Offline," where Hila Klein told Insider the couple planned to keep their children offline because it was such a dark place. "It's also hard for me not to share because they're so cute," Hila Klein said. "I feel like I want to show them, but it's a choice that we made. We want to keep it private for them, and I think it's the responsible choice." Their audience often applauded them for their responsible choice in how they approached involving their children in their content, which was largely leaving them out of it. Yet by 2025, it seems like that has suddenly changed. Bringing minors into such a highly visible and high-stress environment can be extremely unsafe, especially when an ongoing CPS investigation is happening. While it seems that the subreddit has remained fairly empathetic, Ethan's been convinced that they are essentially a hate page out to get him, feeding once again further and further into the ideas of me versus the world, rumination and paranoia. And it's justified Ethan's threats to dox the H3 subreddit.
It's gotten insane. Yeah, it's gotten insane. I can't wait till I find out who the snarkers are, because I'm gonna sue them. Get in line, baby. Oh, they should be worried. I know they're very paranoid. They should be.
You'd be surprised how paranoid these snarkers are.
Ethan Klein, champion of free speech, is threatening to dox the users and moderators of the H3 Snark subreddit. Announcement: H3 Snark is on a break. It won't save you scumbags from what's coming. I can't wait for your family, friends, work, and school to know what you've been up to. There's also a subreddit called FauMoy. I hope I'm saying that right.
FauMoy. Did I say it right?
FauMoy.
Wasn't it
I'm a phony. I'm a phony. Well, anyway, you guys probably know about FauMoy.
Which I hadn't heard of since this video, to be honest, that Ethan literally calls a Nazi forum, even though it seems to be a tea or drama subreddit. And this is where it seems the mental health state of Ethan Klein is highlighted, as everyone is out to get him in the most extreme and hateful ways in the mind of Ethan Klein. Read the comments on this post and you couldn't tell me the difference between them and a forum. The FauMoy post just says, Hila Klein, who's a big fan of Yoav Gallant and whose husband literally uses the N-word, is stunned to learn an artist doesn't want to be associated with her company. Yet Ethan has once again been accused of being a hypocrite, because while he'll publicly go on tirades accusing accounts of being anti-Semitic or simply for being against him, his top 5 Spotify was Kanye West, and he didn't see a single issue or contradiction about that.
Here's my top 5 artists. Kendrick Lamar, Metro Boom, Mac Miller, Kanye West, 21 Savage.
Is that Kanye?
I mean, I'm not sure. It looks something close to what mine would be.
Is that not yours?
This is mine?
How do you not know your own? I don't know, man.
I didn't know that I was guessing on my own. Kanye West, that's embarrassing. I do like his, I mean, guilty.
That's insanely embarrassing.
That's really interesting.
Ethan Klein lives by one rule. Rules for thee, but not for me. Ethan Klein then escalated the situation by going live on YouTube, where he launched into a tirade against multiple subreddits, including FauMoy, claiming that he was being mass gaslighted and declaring, "I've never seen anyone in the history of the internet be harassed like this."
The amount of harassment that me and Hila have been receiving is unlike anything. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in the history of the internet being harassed like this. I'm gonna say that. And
that's... That can't be true.
Give me an example. When have you seen this? Every fucking day.
Chris Chan?
Ethan Klein also issued veiled threats during the live stream, saying a lot of these people think they're safe, but they'll soon find out they're not. He urged his followers to stand back and stand by, because there's something in the works that I just can't wait for. In Ethan Klein's mind, he's being targeted in ways that internet influencers have never been targeted before. Just him.
This is from YouTube Drama. H3 is pursuing legal action against Reddit group H3 Snark, which is just a fucking insane, outright freakish lie. 7,000 points. The people that looked into this have no clue what they're talking about, and I will get into this soon, so just stand back and stand by. But what they're referring to is just a DMCA, like one of their posts of like the hundreds, if not thousands, got DMCA'd. And so the story is that I'm trying to sue them and silence free speech because one post of 1,000 got DMCA'd. I'm still surprised by the level of sickness that these people have exhibited and the coordinated effort and like this wide-reaching campaign.
Many people started wondering, how can anyone work in an environment with a boss like this? More and more former employees started to leave the H3 podcast as things started to spiral out of control. And Ethan seems incapable of listening to outside voices or blatantly argues with employees while live. If this is happening publicly, imagine what's happening behind the scenes. For example, Ethan argues with employees over political violence.
Name a communist leader that hasn't killed thousands of people. I'll wait.
Name a
Crickets?
U.S. president that hasn't killed thousands of people. I'll wait.
Ooh. I mean,
I'll wait.
Hold on.
I'm waiting.
That is the saddest fucking whataboutism bullshit. Communism is like a uniquely fucking heinous, deadly. Like, you could, first of all, there's a lot of more presidents than communist leaders. I mean, I don't know enough about each president, but I'm sure there's a long list of presidents that haven't killed thousands of people. A long list.
U.S. presidents?
Yeah.
No, there isn't.
Okay. All right, let's see. I mean, and like communists are like doing genocides on their own people, killing like millions of people. Like that comparison is so fucking lame, bro. I don't know why you gotta run defense for these fucking despots.
Ethan argues with a Ukrainian employee who's in Canada over his comments that he made about Canada.
Wait, is that the one that I just said?
I hate. I'm tired of being joke policed. I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
it's not that fucking serious.
Listen, yeah,
Seriously,
I agree.
just fucking leave me alone. Like, I'm tired of being joke policed about every fucking stupid thing. It's not that serious.
I have to agree. I wasn't here though. I didn't hear it, but I have to agree that it doesn't sound that serious.
I'm not defending this position for the sake of like, this is my take. I'm just trying to explain you what other people feel. That's all. Like, I don't feel offended by you joking about the 51st state, but I feel like a lot of people are.
I feel like people can be offended by all the different types of things, and that's fine. People are entitled to their feelings. But at the end of the day, I have to be the judge of what I'm saying as being serious or not. And sometimes I say stuff that's offensive and it's too far, and I acknowledge that, and I take it back, or I walk it back, or I stop doing it. This is a harmless fucking joke.
Yeah. Ethan argued with an employee named Olivia over a person's pronouns.
You guys are so dumb and pathetic in the chat. Literally wait till he comes out and says, like, you can call me he. Like, literally wait till he says my pronoun's he. You stupid fucking woke. I'm being respectful.
No, it doesn't need to be more than it is.
Why are you assuming his pronouns?
Well, it's not when you
You're
use
assuming his pronouns.
Neutral
he hasn't clarified.
No, when you use neutral. Sorry,
Calm
when
down.
you use neutral
no, it's annoying
pronouns,
because people come.
the most
By the way, you people in the chat who are like, "Oh, Ethan is L being like transphobic." It's like you are presuming his pronouns. And by the way, why are you being so militant about it? How does that help anybody? I'm obviously being respectful, and I'm waiting for him to clarify. Like, you guys are wrong. And if you ever want other people outside of your bubble to ever be respectful and take like trans people and non-binary people seriously, you have to stop being so pathetically ridiculous when people are trying in good faith to make an effort and be respectful.
There was a time where it seemed like Ethan almost called his employee Nate a B word.
There's an existing lie counter.
Oh,
kind
why
of.
does it lie?
Just because there's a lie counter doesn't mean I'm a liar. It just means that Nate's a
little nitpicker.
He's a insolent employee.
I'm shooting ropes, bro. I'm just doing
we
my
told
job.
you a million times to stop, Nate.
During a podcast, when Ethan is calling a woman a B word, Hila suggests it's probably not a good idea for him to continually use that word, and he kind of shuts her down.
This bitch is so, and I'm sorry, again, I hate that. This bitch is intolerable. You are such a nasty fucking.
I don't know if you can call her a bitch though.
She is a bitch.
What do you,
You're right. I call her a see you next Tuesday.
Listen,
I'm curious, what do Lena and Sam think about it when if you see a guy, an annoying guy that disagrees with you or something, and then he calls you a bitch, you know, it's kind of like.
I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah.
Hila then asks the H3 employees, Lena and Sam, their thoughts on the situation. Essentially having these two women weigh in between their two bosses and whether they would find that word in the way that Ethan used it offensive. When they agree with Hila, Ethan says he will bow to the council. Jeez.
Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm all ears. I will bow to the council's will.
Ethan goes off on an employee Dan for saying that he killed the vibe.
What's going on, guys? What happened? Everybody
Killed the mood, bro, with your antics.
We're depressed.
How the fuck did I kill the mood?
Bruh.
What the fuck did I do?
You killed the mood.
Yeah.
Why? How?
But with your calling Phil and bringing up all kinds of negative
That was
stuff.
fucking awesome.
It was fine.
How did calling Phil ruin the mood? What's happening? What is this world we're living in? What's happening right now? Tell me how.
I told you.
Tell me how. Because I don't understand how.
Olivia seems extremely uncomfortable in one podcast episode during a live stream over conversations surrounding SA.
Okay, let me just finish my point before you all make it seem like I'm crazy for saying something. I don't think she committed a crime or anything, but she was very pushy with something that I perceived as to be sexually suggestive. And if that was opposite genders, you would all be freaking out right now. Bye-bye. Say bye now. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.
He just dropped the hot take and then dips, but
no.
Okay.
I think I misunderstood what happened, and I don't want to do this anymore.
Wait, what?
What do you mean?
I don't know the moment he's referencing. Yeah, that's why I'm like, why'd he dip? Let's talk more about this.
It seems like in this situation, Ethan kind of throws his employees into the line of fire, especially since Olivia had spoken about her past regarding SA and how that was a sensitive topic for her. Employee Sam left in the summer of 2024, which most people feel was right before things fully went off the rails.
I'm just going to say it. You want to say it, Sam? Or should I say it?
You can say it. It's fine. Or I can. Unfortunately, I will be leaving the podcast, and I'm really, really sad about it. I got another opportunity that I really want to explore.
Employee Olivia took a mental health break from the podcast.
Our dear beloved Olivia is taking a mental health break from the show. And so I mean, listen, it is what it is. Obviously, we all love her. We are in touch with her.
And she loves everybody.
We are wishing her well. Yeah, she's the best. She's the greatest.
She just needs... She needs to take a break, focus on herself a little bit.
After the incident surrounding the conversation about SA, she then officially left in September of this year.
Ethan Klein has just announced that Olivia has quit the podcast. The downfall of H3. He said that due to all the harassment on TikTok and all the snark, Olivia needed to step away and focus on her mental health. September 9th, 2025, baby.
Many people believe that Olivia officially quit the podcast due to Ethan's resurfaced Reddit account called Pedo Troll. Due to a data breach, highlighted accounts believed to belong to Ethan Klein, including a Reddit profile named Pedo Troll. The account was created more than a decade ago and consistently spoke about minors inappropriately while promoting the H3H3 YouTube channel. I feel so uncomfortable even showing some of these posts on screen. I don't even know what to do, but I think what I'll do is just show screenshots of the posts but heavily censor them right here so that you can see at least a small snippet of what this account has posted. There was also a Twitter/X account with a similar name that's believed to belong to Ethan as well. It's also fairly believable that this was Ethan's account because this isn't the only time Ethan has spoken inappropriately regarding children, with racism added into his statements.
Look at this image. I mean, this image is pretty twisted up in itself. She's holding what looks like a phallic object, a little 8-year-old girl, and a big, giant black man looking in on her, man. It's like Blackzilla. This guy's got a weird fantasy, dude. Blackzilla, the little 8-year-old white girl. Woo, make it rain. Let's see them titties. Oh. A little bit young for that. I don't want to make fun of little kids, but that looks more like a girl than a boy. And I don't know why they cast a young hermaphrodite for the role. Is that too much? Should I not make fun of the kids like that? He's got a black girl and a white girl. He's going to tear them both up.
What's disturbing about the Reddit posts is that they often reference specific instances, which led many to speculate on whether or not Ethan had actually done these acts. Ethan allegedly made frequent posts on that Reddit account about sexually harassing children. He said that monsters shouldn't be judged by others. He gave advice to others, saying it was better to get involved with children outside the family. Ethan replied under a post saying that there's tension between an uncle and his nephew, saying it's inevitable. When all of this resurfaced, instead of denying that it was his account, Ethan immediately admitted to having been the person behind the account. My friends, I have a terrible confession to make. Yes, it is true. My 15-year-old Reddit account was identified by using a doxing website that lists a history of all emails and passwords that have been leaked in illegal data breaches. A post last night was made of the Snark subreddit by the person who obtained this information. With Reddit's help, this person was able to disseminate this illegally and maliciously obtained information to a community whose sole purpose is to harass me, my family, and my employees. In doing so, some terrible revelations were made. 1. Yes, my account username Patrol made a few bizarre and edgy attempts at being funny. It was common on Reddit 15 years ago to create a thematically named troll account to post silly things from. The method was to have Redditors read something crazy, then check the username and realize it was a goof. You can see evidence of this on most posts made in character. These troll stories include anecdotes that clearly never happened, including a story that references my children, who were born 10 years later. Further evidence of this is simply that I was self-promoting my YouTube channel while doing these parody posts. I knew I was personally identifiable the entire time. I was trying to be funny so people would look at my account and discover my YouTube channel. I was not ashamed of it then, and I'm not ashamed of it now. Embarrassed, yes. On par with cringing at my old YouTube videos. 2. Yes, there are a few posts of me being a Zionist Jewish supremacist, which includes me mostly arguing with someone called Israel Germany. In totality, about 95% of the posts were about StarCraft 2 or self-promoting my YouTube channel. I have nothing to hide and nothing to apologize for. And remember, folks, joking about is not the same as having it on your computer. That being said, Ethan accuses a lot of people of being pedophiles and makes a lot of jokes about pedophiles. It reminds me of when I was really young and naive and had people who I thought were guy friends that would make a lot of sexual jokes towards me, and then they would kind of nudge me and say, it's just a joke, we're just joking around, and then I would always be shocked and disappointed when some time would pass and they would try to make a pass at me. Over time, when I became less naive, I realized that those jokes weren't really jokes at all, that they actually meant what they said the entire time. Ethan's old account has since been banned on Reddit.
Wow.